Hey, welcome back to the Blue Collar Off-Road Podcast, episode 62. So, we dropped Kish for the day. We got Chris,
Iousa.
Iousa? I can never
Iousa.
pronounce your last name.
It's like Joshua, but with an I instead of
I'm just going to call him Iousa. That's
There you go,
easier.
whatever. Whatever.
So we got Iousa back on. I know you've got some cool stuff in the works because we've talked back and forth just in passing over Messenger. But
Yep.
and I know you actually wheel, so this will be a cool one to like hear about. Like before we even started, we were talking a little bit about the jungle. We stopped ourselves because we want to hear more about that, and everybody else probably wants to hear about that too, because sounds like that was wild. So I don't know, just what's been up as far as build and wheeling.
We wheel pretty much. I mean, we go out at least 3 times a month, and if not every weekend.
Mhm.
This year was pretty gnarly. Pretty much every weekend we were going out. A lot of big trips. This year was awesome. We did a bunch of wheeling this year, and 2022 looks already off to be a good start on the same progress. A lot of wheeling. So we did good. Our last trip was the jungle, which was it the New Year's? I don't even. It was January. No, was it December? It was December.
Yeah, it was December because that was.
It was December.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
mid-December or something.
I honestly don't even remember. I think it was around Christmas. I don't remember the time. They normally does it for New Year's Day, so we did it a little different this year. It was a great ride up there. We left the house at 5 a.m.
How far into Vermont is it?
It's about 3 hours from my house.
Okay, that's
It's
not
not
horrible.
too bad. So me and Mikey were in the second gen with his big trailer. So we had my buggy and his YJ buggy on there. And we got there about 8 o'clock. We had breakfast, stopped off to the normal jazz going up there. And the weather was perfect. But we knew we were in for a shitty day of snow. And at about 12 o'clock, I'll skip a little ahead, then go back. At 12 o'clock, it started snowing pretty hard. I'd probably say close to 2 inches an hour. And my buddy Ned has a Ford, it's not an Explorer, it's a Ford Ranger with a 5-liter in it. It's all tube chassis. And he decided he didn't need an engine skid plate. So that ended with a hole in the oil pan and trans pan.
Ugh.
And me being big, because my buggy's big, they all joke around and call it Mater. So I ended up pulling his ass out from the other side of the jungle, which is substantially far. So I had to pull a 5,700-pound Ford Ranger, all tubed steel with back seat and all that stuff. That didn't
Jesus,
run
that's heavy.
here. Yeah, and it's full hydro, so you can't turn.
Oh
So
my
I had
God.
to pull him out, and by this time, it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock. So we already had about 4 inches of snow.
Mhm.
So Devin spun around in front of me to help pull the convoy out. And I actually got him all the way out of the woods myself with a lot of throttle and a lot of sawing, like I was a mud guy. We drug him out. A lot of hills, it was not fun. But I got him out of there, and then we dragged him onto the trailer and got him out. And then we were going to go back, but by that time they had about around 4 or 5 inches of snow. And we kind of said, we're just going to go home because we still had a three-ish hour, we thought, trek home, which ended up being closer to 5.
Yeah,
5 hours to get home
and stuff.
with the storm. Yeah, they closed 89 down. It was completely shut down. No one was on the highway, so it was not maintained. So when Vermont shuts a highway down, they don't plow it. So the highway had 4 or 5 inches of snow on it. So we were driving with a 32-foot trailer and 2 rigs in 4-wheel drive, 3rd gear, 4th gear. That's all I could do to keep the thing on the road because it was snowing so bad.
Jesus.
Yeah, we got to Keene. We left around 2:30. We got to Keene around 8:30, and we stopped and got food because we were pissed off. And I'm like, I want Mexican because I'm fat. And we stopped and got Mexican, and we were just pissed off. And Keene was rain. They didn't have any real snow down here. Up in Vermont, that got hit pretty hard. But that was supposed to be the last run with my buggy. I was supposed to buy a chassis from another friend, and the chassis didn't end up being what I thought it was going to be.
What style were you looking to get into?
So I don't know if you remember, I had an FJ chassis about 2 years ago that I bought. It was an FJ40 Toyota that was red, and it had 40-inch trip stickies on it. I bought a chassis, and I had 1 tons under it, 05 pluses and 40-inch stickies, and I never finished it. It was set up for a small block Chevy back in the day, like a early 2000s build, and my buddy bought it and did a ton of work.
Is this the one that Dave bought? Or
Dave
okay.
Nichols. Yep. So Nichols did a ton of work, and it has a built LS in it now, and I was going to buy the whole shebang, 6-liter, 4L80, Atlas 4-speed, and the chassis needed a lot more work than I thought, and that's kind of why he stopped. Mm-hmm. He did a front half on it, cut the frame, and did all the tube in the front. But now the top was too tall by about a foot. So I'm like, I have to cut the whole top off this thing. And then I'm like, dude, that's a lot of work. I planned on trying to have an easy winter and not kill myself. Yeah. And that was just going to push me over. I just said, screw it. I'll put a little more work in my buggy for this year, and I'll get a real chassis next year.
I hear a waffle coming. Is that what I'm hearing?
Little waffle action. No, I don't. So mine, I wouldn't really. I was thinking about this. Would I use parts from my buggy to build a new buggy? No. So I wouldn't run my axles.
Exactly.
I'd keep my tires, but it wouldn't be worth it for me not to sell the buggy whole. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I got some 37s you can slap on it for the waffle.
Well, I still have in possession Craven's 42s. So I'd probably just steal those.
Those things are fucking junk, though.
Listen, they'd fit on my buggy. I could throw them on my buggy and ship them and keep my. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to have 8 on 6.5 because I'm going to go 05 and newer. So then you got to redrill the hubs, and I'm like, yeah, fuck this. I'll just get new wheels and tires. I'd like something lighter. Mine's 4750.
It's a big girl.
It's a big girl. So it's without my fat ass in it. So it's a pretty
away in shame.
Yeah, she's a big girl. She does good though. I mean,
she's light compared to my shit box.
Oh yeah, well yeah,
but it's still full bodied.
It's a mini truck. Like, if you think about it, you have a full
It's just
church,
a cab.
Right? Yeah, it's just a cab. Literally, like Graham said, it's not a lot of truck. It's a Toyota mini cab from 85. Like, there's not much going on there. You have, like, space. Like, you could have a back seat if you wanted to.
And is the propane lighter than...
So, the propane...
Would that be lighter than gas, or...
Well, they're 73 pounds a piece. So, there's 2 of them, so that's 150 pounds. But I also have a lot of poop pipe in my cage. I didn't build the cage, the top half of the cage. So I still have like Hebrew pipe in the cage. So that stuff's like twice the weight of DOM as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've never electro welded.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll give you the exact. It's not DOM. So some of the stuff, if I was to keep it, I would cut the whole top of it off and redo it all. When I did the front half last winter, I did all 1.75 DOM. And everything I touched, I've done DOM on. I just haven't got over the top of the cab and all that stuff. And then my axles from wheeling this year. My buggy's been around. It's kind of a slut. Everyone's driven my buggy pretty hard. So I wore through both axles. So normally on the 60 in the front, you wear the bottom bolt off. Yeah. Well, I did that before I got it. Like right when I first got it, I did that. I'm actually wearing the side bolts off the bottom of the diff.
You're just doing a trim, right?
Yeah. So I said, fuck it, and I bought the ballistic shave kit for the front and the ballistic shave kit for the back.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
So we're gonna shave them this winter.
Off of 60?
1 inch. You get 1 inch off of 60. Yeah. I mean, tell your old lady just an inch.
Yeah.
And see what she says at that point. So if you could add just an inch, I'm pretty sure my wife would be a little happier with that. But
shaving an inch, she'd be happy. God damn, boy.
No, don't get yourself confused. There's nothing. I can't brag about that. I meant adding. So I could have at least 3. I'd like at least 3. But no, shaving the front will help, and then the back, I think they say it's 2 inches or 2.5 inches in the back. with the ballistic shave. That's
Yeah,
the ballistic. Yeah, on the 14 bolt. So I have the 13 bolt shave. You just kind of like saws all the bottom off.
Yep.
I bought that cover the beginning of the season, and I was actually 1/8 of an inch above the cover already with no shaving. So I wore it down that much.
Wow.
I literally just put the cover on there and didn't do anything. And now I literally wore it from humble pie and all that stuff. I wore the diff down again, and I actually wore through the housing. The housing's leaking.
Yeah, when your housing's the wear item, that's indication that you're
the ballistic ones. We're gonna put AR plate on the bottom of the ballistic shave kit, just to try to save the diffs from wearing out. And they're gonna get a little more up travel. As far as the rear only has about 3 inches up, I want 6 or 7, so I can do a little bit more faster stuff. I have 18-inch shocks. That thing's got massive shocks in it.
Damn. So it's all down right now, or is it?
Yeah, I have 16 down.
Wow.
So that thing's got a lot of down. Yeah, that whole buggy it's a little stupid. I don't know why he did that. It's got 18s.
Take a second and talk about the fact that no one tells you that your diffs are going to become wear items when you go from a 30 to a 60 or, step up to that level of wheeling.
Yeah.
Well, Colin's having that problem now with his, one of his trash axles. Yeah.
He's having it with his 60.
Yeah, it's true. It's you literally, and Mike Gawley with the Samurai, the red Samurai from, I think he's Deepwoods. He cracked his at Field and Forest last year, and they rolled it over and welded it, and then rolled it back over.
That's funny.
Because he cracked the bottom of the diff it was just worn so much that he literally cracked like a 2-inch crack in the bottom. So they rolled the buggy over in the parking lot, burned it, arc welded it with 2 batteries, of course, and then pushed it back on its wheels and then continued to wheel. I don't even know if he had a gear oil. I think he just kind of just ran it, and then when they rolled it, it had some gear oil in it. And then he wheeled the rest of the weekend like that.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a different. Once you start getting out of like the streetable rigs and get into the. Mine's not even a buggy. Like I like to call it a buggy, but it's not. It's a truggy. Like I'm not one of the cool Ultra 4 guys.
Underneath the cage, it's still the truck, right?
Correct. So, that's what I'm saying. I'm still like Luke's Jeep. You know what I mean? Like if you put 43s on Luke's Jeep, we would be in the same category. Or 43s on Graham's,
except for you still have more up travel than he does.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah.
I'm kidding. What? I know you swapped it when you did the 4-link. I'm making a joke because you've never had up travel, okay? God.
You got real defensive there.
He got super defensive.
Yeah. I saw his face. His whole face just stopped.
I got up travel, man. Yeah. I finally have up travel, and it's fucking beautiful.
Listen, he's got more than 3 inches.
That's what I'm saying. I redid the front last year, and I got 6.5 in the front. And it used to be 2.5 in the front, and it was horrendous. And it was just bump, 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 bump. So
did you have air bumps, or were you just on a solid bump?
So when I first bought the buggy, it had those ghetto ass Daystar, you get it AutoZone, the 1.5, 2-inch pucks, poly pucks that were it's got a 1/2-inch bolt or a 7/16 bolt on the backside. You just kind of tighten the bolt, you drill a hole, and they had those. So my spine, needless to say, was a little fucked up from that. So now it's got bumps in the front, and it still has the bigger Daystar ones. They spent the big bucks. It's got the 3 or 4-inch Daystar poly pucks, and it hits the top of the Curry Johnny joint, which is pretty dumb. So it's wearing the Johnny joint when you hit it so I'm going to put air bumps as well and get a little more out of it. So it's pretty harsh, but
that's a different kind of special.
and this is why you talk about having my buggy, my truggy is still a Toyota. It's not a full blown tube chassis. You know what I mean? And so I gotta remember that when I go out with these guys with rear steer and full blown tube chassis, that I'm still the underdog here. I can drive. I'm very good at that. I can't do many things well, but I can drive. So
I'd say so. I condone that. I say you're a good driver.
Cody can outwheel me, If you ask
Yeah,
him.
my
'Cause
feet.
He said that clear as day in the podcast that he could outwheel me. And
Like, yeah, I
he
did
doesn't
that.
even fucking wheel. But he can outwheel me. So I'd like
Yeah,
to
my
see that.
shoelace
I'd like to
express.
see
Oh yeah, I got that.
I'm pretty nimble for a fat guy. So I wouldn't say you
Nibble
can
like a
outwheel me
water
with them.
buffalo.
Listen, I'm telling you, we'll get some New Balances. And we'll do some stuff here. We'll get the white ones, we'll lace them up tight. And then, I don't know, you'd have some competition. I'm pretty nimble for a fat guy, I'm telling you.
How the
So-
turntables.
Yeah. First one to walk through, or get through everything sucks or something, right? You just put those New Balances on and walk it. See
Yeah,
who's better.
Actually, everything sucks is my least favorite trail at Field and Forest. I love every trail but that one. Everything sucks. Fucking sucks. For Humble Pie, I literally I did Humble Pie this year. I don't know if I talked to you guys before that or I don't remember.
That was before.
No.
Yeah, so I ran
don't
Humble Pie this year with mine. And I got to the shootout at the end, so I qualified for the shootout, which you got to qualify in for the shootout, and I qualified for that. And I randomly ripped a hind joint off my steering column, so I couldn't turn.
Oh shit!
So I came down Nelson's Crawl, and my steering wheel was flopping all over the place. And I had to hold it up in place to kind of turn. I'm like, this is fucking retarded. And I was like, I can't do a timed event by holding my steering wheel. When you hit a bump, the steering column was like literally, 2 feet in every direction. I'm like, you know what? I'm just fucking calling it. I was like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to the bunghole. I was all excited, like I was gonna get out. And we had a plan. Eric had a hot dog stand on Pete's Pass. Mm-hmm. So we were going to stop and get hot dogs. We had this cool plan, me and my spotter. We were going to park and get hot dogs and make everybody laugh, and then we were going to go do Break Over Rock and all that stuff. Well, I didn't make it, so I failed, and I was pretty excited about that, and I fucking failed.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah,
like a stupid steering.
And literally,
too, right? That's...
and Bob goes, if you want to fix that, I'll let you run. Like, I'll let you restart and run. And I'm like, Bob, dude, it's been a hell of a weekend. I love that you let me go here. I had a blast. I'm fucking done. It's like, I'm done. My spotter's tired. Like, we're done.
Yeah.
It was a lot. We came in, I think there was 33 rigs. Wow. And I think I came in 16th. Out of 33.
For being a fat slut Toyota, that ain't bad.
Exactly. No, and it was I ran with my buddy Sean with the olive green and black buggy with the KR3s on it. So me and him ran together. So it was me, my spotter Matt, Sean, and his spotter Mikey, which was that tan YJ that we're building. And we ran together with each other, helped each other out. Mm-hmm. Pretty much the whole thing, and then at the end, he beat me by like a minute. You know what I mean? He was right in front of me for the end. So it was a good time. I enjoyed it. I got it out of the way, did it, and it's a lot. The Humble Pie is a fucking lot on the rig. My rig got its ass kicked for Humble Pie. Like that's.
Is that why you want to change to a more go fast kind of style? Is you want to be able to do both, or
I just want to be able to shed some weight off my buggy. I mean, I don't break a lot of parts, but I'm very easy on the throttle. You think I drive hard, but I'm very easy when it gets bound up. I don't let it. Like I'm not going to.
It's also you've got the slush box in front of it, which it's like a pillow for all the brake components.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of go easy on it, and I know when I'm bound up to stop. So I would like to be able to get on it a little more, trying to climb things and stuff like that, and not have to worry about it. And in the back of my head, that cage that I didn't build, or me and my friends didn't build, I don't like the idea of that. Because I don't know who did it, and I don't. It's not DOM. So like if Graham built it or someone like that, and I knew you built it, and I was like, oh, I trust you doing things. I would easily take a roll and not worry about it. But I know once that thing rolls, the fucking chassis is ruined.
Yeah, it's gonna get shredded.
It'll save me. Like I 100% feel that it'll save me because I mean the cab is still intact. So the cab inside, like it's going to take a flop or a good roll or something like that, but it's going to be
you flopped it before, right?
So that rig's been on its side twice, but it didn't go all the way over.
Mm-hmm.
So we just
For a
went onto its
rockaholics
side.
guy, that's not that many times, to be honest with you.
No, so I don't drive by Braille, and I'm not a race car driver.
Yep.
So Bradley rolls over every time. He's one of the best drivers I know. He rolls over every time because he will full throttle hit anything. If you tell him to hit it hard, he will hit it hard, and he's not afraid to full rear steer as he's climbing. He will hit things hard. So he rolls over all the time. Jim Overly, you guys know, of course,
Yes.
does backflips and cartwheels, and he just beats things hard. So if I did that, I would be just like those guys. I drive kind of, I don't want to break it today. I drive mine to wheel next weekend.
Yeah, it's
And
fair.
I don't have a big budget. I have 3. You guys talk about it all the time with like making time with families and stuff like that. I have 3 kids. My wife doesn't work. I'm the only one income household here. I have
Wow.
a mouse and stuff, so I take things. I go easy because if I have a $2,000-$3,000 break, I'm like shit. I will make it
that
work.
sucks.
I'll make it work, but it's a lot to put stress on everything else. So I'm like, you know what?
Absolutely, yeah. Especially
my
if you're
pocket.
the only income. I mean, I could only imagine that would definitely put stresses
Yeah.
on a lot of that. Shit,
Yeah,
I'm a fucking single. Technically, I'm not married, so I'm still legally single. I think it is. 24-year-old guy, and I still don't have enough money to throw at my Jeep all the time that I want. So I couldn't even imagine actually owning a house and all that shit. That's pretty wild.
That's a lot. Yeah, I got a house, and we have kids are in school, and the kids do things, and you have Wednesdays we have
Kids are
dance.
big money
Yeah,
sink.
dance and soccer, and we go on trips, family trips and stuff. And wheeling's kind of my wife calls it my sanity. It keeps me somewhat sane. It's my only thing that I do for a hobby. I had to.
It's a break.
That's-
It's
Yeah, exactly, and that's why why don't you bring the kids? I'm like, well, my oldest son is 7, so he's still too small to come to field.
Come out, yeah.
You know what I mean? When he's old enough, when he's 13, 14 years old, I'll build him a rig. I don't care about that. I'll gladly, no questions asked. I'll take my rig down to build him one, and get him out there. And this year we got the gooseneck this year, and I put my camper on the front of it. So I have a truck camper on the front of my. Oh, you guys saw that? Did you?
I did. I have. I don't know
you
if
saw it.
Graham and
Okay.
Luke has.
The books of face, and
Oh,
you're terrible with your Instagram. Like, we need to have a separate conversation about, like, it's not that hard to share posts from Instagram to Facebook.
I don't fucking know how to do that shit. I don't use
So
the
easy.
Instagrams.
It's so easy.
I know. That's I gotta do some stuff. Everyone tells me you gotta use Instagram. Like, I don't fucking use it.
You just
I
take a
definitely-
picture and put it on there. I don't even use
Yeah, I know.
Facebook. I just take. I'll take a picture and like write whatever I'm gonna write. If I'm gonna do like a post, and then it just goes to Facebook too. And that's just it's 2 birds, 1 stone. It's done. It's low effort.
I mean, I could probably try to do that. Like, that's not. Like I look at my Instagram, I'm like, I don't have any of those pictures up there. Like, what's going on there? And we wheel so much that I'm normally in the front of the group, like either leading or I get fucked. I don't get any pictures. Like, my rig's never there. I'm like, what the hell? All these guys have awesome videos, and I'm stuck either in the front or I'm in the back, and I don't get any videos.
See, I would say you have the same problem that Colin does, which is you do exciting stuff. People want to see you wheel, but the problem is that every obstacle, most of the time, I mean, you're pretty well rounded with wheeling in New England. So most of the time, every obstacle you go up to, you've already either tried it or done it.
I've done it, yeah.
By the time that somebody could even get a phone out, get a camera out, or anything like that, you're already done it up it, and it's like, oh, that didn't even look cool. So what's the point of that video? Because
Exactly.
he just walked that shit. Like,
and I don't want to make people wait on me. Like, get the cameras, take a picture, grab this angle.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. So I'm gonna hit it, and then it is what it is. Even at the jungle, I wheeled the jungle till Ned broke, but I wheeled till like 2:00, and I don't have one fucking video of my rig. Not one. Like I got one. I got a rando picture that I'm in. There's like 3 other rigs in mine. So there's proof that I was there. Every cool thing I did. We did Dirty Sanchez, which is a nasty trail. It's got like a 10-foot drop that turns hard 90 passenger and then drops down again.
is that the one where that guy recently just flopped onto his roof really hard? There was a video. I think it was like a yellow buggy.
Probably. That's like one of the biggest drops at the jungle. The jungle's a lot of Paul Barnes. You guys know Paul.
Mhm.
Paul likes to cut some fucked up trails.
Well,
Paul. That's
if you've seen his
trails.
buggy work, right? You have.
Yeah.
We all have,
Yeah,
I think.
Paul is
Badlands.
I love. So we're going.
That thing just works.
I was talking to Luke before we had the podcast when I was trying to figure out buttons. I was pushing lots of buttons. And we're doing Harlan Memorial Day week. So Paul Barnes and those guys are going to come down with us. So we're going to go Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday for Harlan, and then we're going to do Tackett Creek on Wednesday, and then drive to Roush Thursday and wheel Friday, Saturday at Roush, and then come home. So that'll be that for our opening week, we call it. We do a long weekend normally. We're doing a full week this year, but we do Roush normally as a Roush or AOA or something like that as our opener for the year. Just kind of a shakedown and, a good run, a good hard run for the year to see how things are going to work out and stuff. So it'll be me and Mikey and Paul Barnes, Matt with the Chevy Truggy, the white one on 43s, and Sean with he built a blue buggy on 39-inch reds. So I invited the guys in my club to see if people will show up, whatever. We got a house down at Harlan. And then, it ends up being pretty cheap. Last year we went with Mark Branstieri. It ended up being like $200 a person for 5 days.
Damn.
It was cheap.
We were looking at, there was an Airbnb down by Roush that it was literally going to cost like everybody like $8 a night or something. It's insane how just because like these guys or people who own these houses are like, okay, the only people that are coming are quad and like 4x4 guys.
There's nothing else down there.
Yeah, so I can't make it too crazy, but like sometimes, like there was one we were looking at that it was in like a beautiful fucking neighborhood too, and I'm like, are we gonna just roll through this with a bunch of shitty XJs like with us party? Like, are they gonna allow this? Like, they're gonna see the ring camera and be like, what kind of incest fucking sex party is happening?
So we just did AOA at the end of the year last year. I've never been to AOA. We got an Airbnb. And there was 4 of us. Craven actually came up. Craven rode with Mikey, my buddy Ben, and me and Mikey. And it was on a lake. We rented a house literally on a lake, and it was $400 or something like that for 4 days. And we wheeled. It was stupid. And literally, like we told the lady, Mikey called and set it all up, and he goes, "Hey, we have 2 gooseneck trailers. One's 26 feet, and the other one's 32 feet. Will we fit in the driveway?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, you guys will fit. People come here all the time and they wheel and they drop the trucks off and they drive." And we're like, "Okay, whatever." So I was driving and I pull in and it's a 1-lane road about 6 inches wider than the truck and trailer, and it's winding down this lake. And we couldn't fit in one entrance because the roads were too tall. They had this like bridge you had to go over, like a covered style bridge. I'm like, so I finally get to the house and I'm looking at the driveway, and you could barely park 2 Priuses in the driveway. And she goes, "Yeah, just park here." And I went, "I can't park the Cummins in the driveway. What are you talking about? I still got the trailer behind." So I had to back out like 3/4 of a mile to a common area and park them in the common area. So do a little homework when you do the Airbnbs, but it was absolutely beautiful. The house is fully furnished. It's like couches and TVs and shit. And AOAA was, I don't know if you guys have been.
Not yet. I'm planning on it.
Yeah. I hated it.
Really?
So I'm going to say that I have zero interest in ever going back.
Why was it so different?
You guys been to Roush? Oh, you guys have all been.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A couple times.
So go to Roush and take out all the cool obstacles. And then you got AOA.
Really?
I heard AOA was like supposed to be the harder of the 2 properties. Like,
so this is the deal. So the red trails are impassable.
Okay.
So when Mark Branstieri and Cricket says no on a trail, it's a fucking no. Like he wins humble pie. He won humble pie this year. Like
if Cricket says no, I don't know of any other rig that's making it up.
I looked at it's called Upper Tax Bracket. I looked at Upper, and then the other one. It's called Upper Tax Bracket. And I said, I don't even see a fucking line. I don't see where it's so off camber. some of the holes were big enough to put my whole buggy in it.
Easy.
And I was like, I'm the biggest guy here. If I roll, I'm fucked. Like, no one, you're going to need 2-3 rigs to get me out.
Yeah.
I said, I'm up, dude, no. Like, if we had 10 guys and a whole bunch of built rigs, okay, maybe. But I'm not wasting a day on upper tax bracket. And the green and blue trails and the black trails were too easy.
Gotcha.
So you guys would have a blast in Cherokees from high school.
Oh.
If you had 31s or Cody's, like if you had like,
Cody's
No,
gonna
but he's saying like
blast.
I'm the higher
Yeah,
end
you-
of that
he'd
to
be,
have
top,
fun.
he'd be top dog. Cody would have a blast.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
But like when
For
you bring,
once.
No,
when
I've
you
built
bring
my
the
rig
guys
to
on
do
40s,
more than that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
So we were talking about doing Famous Reading on the way back from Harlan, but I guess there's no maps. And Famous Reading, which I found out when we went to AOA, so there was a good perk of going to AOA. What I found out is Famous Reading has a lot of trails from Paragon. So back in the day, the off-road park was Paragon. That's where all the guys went. That was the hardcore park to go to.
Okay.
So I'm betting that Famous Reading, which is, it touches AOA. It's the same. Like AOA is like 12,000 acres or something like that, 8,000 acres. And Famous Reading is like 12 or 15,000 acres and they touch. The trails almost go over each other.
Gotcha.
So if you guys are going to go, I recommend you do Famous Reading, but you got to talk to somebody about the mapping situation. So we drove to Tackett last year, drove around for about 8 hours. I wasted about a tank and a half of propane, and I didn't hit one fucking trail.
Jeez.
Jesus.
So we drove around and we had no maps. And the map that we had was so basic, it didn't show anything. So we drove around and done everything in two-wheel drive. I was so pissed off that we wasted all that time. And now the BFD app
and like
has it.
at that point though, you know, it's almost better to just go to Roush. Like,
So this is where we're at on the way back from Harlan.
I mean, I've still got plenty I'd love to hit at Roush. I mean,
yeah,
I feel like every
And if-
time we say we're going to hit certain things and then just other stuff happens and we don't end up being able to hit it. So I'm
And I do think a really nice point about Roush is that there is go rounds, and if there's not a go round, there's a wicked fun like lower end. Like let's say you guys want to hit reds, like if you guys want to hit the O trail or whatever, then I can just fucking hit like a smaller trail that's still fun as fuck
I
for
think
me.
it's Yellow Jacket runs near. I
Kind of,
might be
yeah.
totally off.
Yellow Jacket's on top of O Trail.
Yeah,
So Yellow Jacket runs up and O's right there, and it's a green in between. So you
Yeah.
can run the green trail and then touch Yellow Jacket for the less built guys. We can drop into O Trail and go do all those red offshoots and black offshoots on O Trail. CV's right there. You can drop in and do CV and do all those trails. I'd like to, when you guys go, I missed last year. When you guys go to Roush this year, I'd like to tag along.
cool.
And go to,
Make that
go to
happen.
Roush with you guys. Yeah, because I know it's not the hardest core property. I love Roush.
It's just a
one of
fun
my
place to
favorite
bomb
places.
around. Like,
Yeah, I have a blast.
You know, on the note of like keeping your rig together enough that you can wheel the next weekend, Roush is a really good fucking park for that if
Yeah.
you can temper yourself.
Yeah,
There are
exactly.
certain obstacles where I started letting my dick swing and I paid the price for it because I just didn't take no for an answer. When
So the
you
main
can-
the main thing is the comp course. I tell myself stay off the comp course.
the concourse.
Don't go on the comp course.
It's like
Till the last
cheating.
day. No, till the last day. Don't go on the comp
Okay,
course
yeah.
till the last day. So if you're gonna wheel Friday, Saturday, and you're going home Sunday, Saturday afternoon after you guys have lunch, whatever you're gonna do, beat the shit out of the comp course. I'm fine with that. Do everything you want to do.
Yep.
You can roll on the comp course, but do not go to the comp course before Saturday at like 1:00. Don't do it. Ruin your whole fucking trip. Because you're gonna end up thin because it's hero traction with the sandpaper and the blown concrete. You're gonna end up ruining something.
Yeah, see, I was mildly concerned when, like, most of the people that gave us, this is kind of going back to the AOAA thing. I didn't want to cut you off, so I'm just going to
Well,
throw this out. I had a mild concern for AOAA when the style of driver that was telling us that it is more fun than Roush was the party guys, if you will. That where I was just like, they just want to go somewhere that they can do whatever the fuck they want.
So AOAA is great for a side by side, or a JK on 35s. That's the best way to explain it.
Huh.
If you have a side by side, a dirt bike, or a quad,
Yeah.
or you have a, you can drive the quads into town.
Oh shit,
So
that's kind of
you
cool.
can take a trail and take the side by sides and quads. And we actually would take the buggies, but I guess we don't fit because we're too wide. So we're like, we want to go in town. But it's literally for a JK on 35s. That is AOA. Like, you guys are Graham, Luke. I'm just saying my personal opinion. You're wasting your fucking time.
Well, that's
And if I'm-
that's a nice opinion because I'd rather like have a very like because everybody we've talked to is like, oh yeah, I always like I don't know. I feel like we've only gotten people who've said it's a good property, but I never really explained why it's a good property. So it's refreshing to hear your opinion, which is that it's either red trails that are impassable or trails that are way too easy.
Yeah. And if you want to check another thing off your list, like if you're trying to do all the properties on the East Coast and it's on your list, I did it. I checked it.
Yep.
I will not
Never
go back.
again. Yeah.
I have zero interest in going back.
So it's kind of
If
like
I
Sawmill in Rhode Island.
So I want to go there. So I'd like to go there. I know it's probably not a lot. I'd like to go there and do it. So I said I did it, but I don't have any interest in going back. And Mikey wants to go back to do upper tax bracket. I said I will ride passenger with you and do upper tax bracket. I'll spot you. But I said I want nothing to do with my rig. And
How's his buggy doing? I know he's been tagging along to like
so
everything.
me and Mikey, right after the jungle, Sunday, we go home Sunday, we took out a Sawzall and we cut the back off. So we did a back half, and it's got it's triangulated full length in the back. As of last night,
is he finally doing? Is the 4-link? Did he finish that during the season?
No, so he wheeled.
Okay, he's doing that now.
Yeah,
because he was on leaf springs, and it was a little.
Yeah, he was on leaf springs, and he broke the second time he spun a tube on the 14 bolt.
Oh.
So we welded it. I pulled it back with my buggy. We spun the tube back, and we burned it into place, and it lasted one run, and then spun, and then it broke in a different spot. So we literally gave up on that whole axle. Got a whole nother 14 bolt. We just shaved that last week.
Nice.
Well, I don't even know what day it is. Sunday. With that, we shaved that Sunday. So that's shaved. That's put underneath, and all the brackets are tacked in for the back half. But we already did all the tube in the back, so the whole back is all done in the tube. And we, did the full, raised it up like 10 inches and all that stuff, and dovetailed it. And there's no more sheet metal besides the hood.
Oh no! I liked it. That was like my favorite part of it was honestly that it was like it was still a shell of a YJ. I mean, the floor was laughable, but that was cool.
No, I got a picture of Mikey cutting out where it says Jeep on the bottom of the tub. I got a picture of him with a cutoff wheel cutting that, and he literally rounded the tube for the cowl is just tacked on the side of the tube for the fenders. There's nothing left YJ except the hood and grill. And we're cutting the front, and we're putting the winch behind the grill.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna cut the front, take another like 10 inches off the front, and move the winch behind the grill.
Wow, crazy how much like that seemed like it was a fairly maybe I'm just blowing smoke, but it seemed like it was a fairly well thought out buggy. Like I really liked when we first saw it, like his first run, right? It seemed like it was well thought out. It was a buggy with like the skin of the YJ. It still sort of looked like one.
Exactly.
And it is now just full buggy, just no holds barred, all gone. So it's crazy how 1 year can just
1 year ago
change all the plans.
That was on 38-inch TSLs, and it had plates.
Wow.
Damn.
Was that the one that showed up at the red for the red run that I was spotting on?
Luke, sorry, that was it.
Yep.
So 1 year ago,
awesome.
Luke was the last time that broke a leaf spring, right? Did he break a leaf spring?
Leaf spring, and it popped like 4 beads on those 16 fives.
So Luke was there. Luke was there at the last run of that rig. That was it. That was the end of the YJ. That was streetable. It was plated. It was everything. And Luke was there. He broke a leaf spring, and then we cut the front of it off. And I went, "What the fuck happened? I thought we were just going to fix the leaf spring." I'm like, "I would have bought the leaf for you." Next thing you know, it's got ORIs and it's linked. And we did a boat side, and I'm like, "Wow."
He pulled out the credit card and said, "Put it on it." He's like,
So Mikey went crazy, but that is one of my favorite YJs.
It's a really cool rig.
I still call it a YJ. I mean, it's still got a YJ hood and grill. But it's
that's the
one
platform,
of my favorite YJs.
right?
Yeah, it's and it works very well. It's still 4-liter. I gave him the Luke LS bug, so we're putting an LS in it next winter. We're going to do it this winter, but we're doing it next winter. We're going to hold off for one more year.
Did that have the 4.2 in it? I can't remember.
No, it's a 95. It had a 4.0 in it.
Okay.
It had a 4.0, but he's got that like 435 or whatever that stupid first gear 4-speed transmission.
Yep.
I think it's a 435 or a T. Mike's gonna get mad at me. Yeah, Mike's gonna be pissed. I don't remember what it was. It's it's out of like a 1961 bread truck.
Oh yeah, he's having trouble. Maybe. It seemed like he was having trouble shifting it. I mean.
Yeah,
he can grab it. That snow globe that's on the thing is.
Yeah, it's got the snow. Yeah, it's got a 10 spline. It's a 10 spline thing. 1 year out of a bread truck, and like he's nuts. But it's like a 7-to-1 first gear.
Yeah, it's insane.
My God.
He ordered an Atlas over the summer in May or June. I can't remember exactly. They were supposed to call him by Thanksgiving to take the money for the Atlas. He bought a 4-speed Atlas. Thanksgiving came around, nothing. Christmas came around, nothing. He got a call last Wednesday. We were at the shop. He got a call from Atlas saying that we're ready to take your order. And he said, "Well," he said, "How many more weeks?" And the guy said, "I think it was 6 more weeks."
Jeez.
Mikey said, "I'm good," and he said no.
Yeah.
And he bought one of those. I'm probably gonna fuck this up too. Midnight Customs builds fully billet 300s. I guess they run. It's fully machined, billet machined Dana 300s.
Mm-hmm.
So like the old stack cases.
Yes.
Where they okay.
So they're done by Midnight Customs, and I think they're $2,600 with a 4-to-1 set from. Is it low? He's gonna be pissing me again on this. Lomax. Lomax makes the gear sets.
Yep.
So, and we were talking about this, and I don't even know what Atlas puts in their cases for gears.
I think it's proprietary.
So, yeah, like I wasn't sure. Are they 300 size gears? Are they bigger?
I think they might be a little bit bigger,
than a 300,
but smaller than a 205.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't know, and I know the 4-to-1.
If somebody made an aluminum 205 case, I'm sure somebody does. It's probably just hella expensive.
That's probably $10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a 205 case. So that's the problem
awesome.
is the weight. You have Graham's got the better setup with the box in front of it.
Yep.
The black box or whatever, Eco box. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, mine's the Eco box. You can get
Eco
the
box.
black box.
So yeah, is it
wish I'd got the black box, but
is yours 544?
Yeah, his is 544 out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I have a 203, 205. So not only does it weigh 15,000 pounds, it only
4-to-1.
Well, it's not even. It's like 3.96. Yes, see, it's not even 4-to-1. So because
autism.
Yeah, it'll come back. But you remember the numbers, so it's not enough. So I would like the 544 out of your box. Nice. So I like that idea. And the 205 is pretty bomb-proof. That was the thing I told Mikey was, why don't you just do a Eco box or a black box to a 205? He was trying to save weight, which I understand. But
shave it till the cows.
Yeah, and I keep telling him, and I'm like, you're shaving weight.
It's weight in the right spot. It's low. It's low weight.
It's low, but you're having something pretty much bomb-proof.
Yeah.
So I don't ever worry about my
it.
transfer case. Yes, I don't worry about it. So when I'm like bound up, I'm like, I'm going to break a shaft. I'm going to break an axle shaft or a drive shaft.
But not an output shaft.
But not an output shaft. And now I'm running 1410s. So I killed my front drive shaft the middle of the season last year. And I put in 1410 yokes on the front. I already had 1410s in the back. I put a 1410 yoke on the front of the 205 to run 1410s in the front drive shaft. More angle, and they're huge.
Yep.
Compared to a 1350. So the strength and everything of the 205, you can't run 1410s on a 300.
No.
I don't even think they make a flange that big.
I had a problem. I ordered drive shafts for my 205, or I ordered drive shafts for the doubler setup before I really knew what exactly I was doing, and I was like, the yoke on it, at first glance, it looked like a 1310. Was not. It's a 1330. Same size cap, just a little wider, right? But first glance, I was like,
a Rubicon.
yeah, I was just sort of naive about it. I basically reordered the same drive shafts I had, which is a 1350 on the rear of the axle, or the rear axle, and 1310s everywhere else. And I should have just done 1350s all around, because finding a 1310 yoke for a 205 is not
impossible.
Easy. It's not fucking easy.
It's probably impossible.
There's like one little rinky-dink company that I found that will sell them to me, but if it blows up, I'm just going 1350 all around. So.
Yeah, 1350s are a minimum, I believe, on drive shafts. And after doing the 1410s, I even got Mikey on the 1410 kick. So Mikey's doing 1410s on his. I think it's just it's a better all around. You don't have to worry about it, and we're getting into harder stuff. Like, our drive shafts, mine are all quarter wall. So my front drive shaft's 2-inch quarter wall, and my back one's 2.5 quarter wall.
Yeah.
And we're still bending them. Like, my front is still a pretzel. So we're right. Still bending the. Yeah, it doesn't. It's
not against fat piggies.
Yes, and I want to go to flanges because I keep wiping out the straps on the yoke. I wear my yokes down.
Yep.
From being in the rocks. So you end up having to replace those straps, and after about 2 sets of straps, you got to replace the yoke because you wear the yoke down so much. So I want to get a flange to stop.
Or you could just weld it.
I mean, you could do that. I don't recommend that.
That's a dig at Luke because we fucked up on something on his. We fucked up something, and we had to we just tacked the U-joint onto it to get it out the door.
Attack is different than a weld.
Oh no! It was like a dancing. It was a heavy tack.
Circle.
That's a stitch. Call that a stitch. Yeah, that is not a little baby weld. That's a lot.
It holds it up to street driving, unfortunately.
Oh yeah. I just that's a little aggressive on me. I would just I just
not ideal.
No, definitely not ideal. Yeah, definitely not ideal.
Oh, I gave him one though, so it's it's fine.
It's fine.
I messed it up, but I gave him an Adams drive shaft to go and do something.
Yeah, with. I'm not worried about it.
You guys weren't raving about those Adams shafts. I'm not a huge fan.
I have a love-hate relationship. I really enjoy just being able to get a shaft and throw it in, but it took him quite a few tries to get my last one correct, and I don't know if it was my measurement that was wrong, but no, it wasn't, because they just sent me it just didn't even fit. It just wasn't right.
The money you guys spend on those, Mikey bought a rear shaft. I think it was $700 for a rear shaft from.
Well, if it breaks, I can just be like, what the fuck, this broke. Let's give me a new one.
Yeah,
that's the nice. It's like buying RCBs.
But if mine breaks, I have another stick. I bought a full stick of it, so I have 20 feet. I cut it down, so I have 16 more feet. Then I'll just replace the piece I broke.
Yeah.
So you guys are nuts on these. $700 for a shaft.
I didn't pay for it.
I just have so many other things going on that I just I can't always.
Yeah.
If I make a drive shaft, and I'm trying to keep things streetable too, so it's just if you want it to ride. I'm sure.
I mean, again, my taco. We'll go back to the Tacoma. I had home built drive shafts front and rear that I made in that thing, and I made them on my bench. So I just put them on there, and I spun them, and I'm like, tack, spin, hit it with a hammer, tack, spun it, made sure it was good, and that was it. And I ran that thing.
When you run big tires, that's not really your biggest concern. Isn't drive shaft vibrations?
So I used to kill a drive shaft every run in that truck.
Yeah.
I had a carrier bearing in it, and I'd kill it every run because it was stock Tacoma drive shafts.
Yeah.
So I finally got pissed off, and I was like, screw this, and I made my own out of quarter wall, and then never broke into the drive shaft. So I'm like, well, why was I doing this? I was like, why do I keep putting in stock style drive shafts? And there's a truck park down the street from my house, Fleet Pride, and the guy's called Tin Man. And Tin Man will make any drive shaft you want. He'll balance it. And,
I got a Fleet Pride guy too. Hell yeah.
Where the fuck have you been?
No, I'm just
out of nowhere.
I was coughing a lot, so I didn't want to bother anybody. And you guys are talking. What am I supposed to do? Just interject and then cough a little bit, then interject some more?
Well, that's the whole point of the podcast, is interject at crucial moments.
Fuck, see, there I go again. Talk once and I'm fucked. But yeah, I got a Fleet Pride drive shaft guy too. He's a little expensive.
So if you talk to them and tell them it's not for road use, he will actually balance or try to balance the quarter wall drive shaft. So when I had one built for I built one of my friends a drive shaft, and I think it was for a Cherokee, And I made it for him, and I brought it down there, and he goes, I can't really guarantee I'm going to make this straight or blah, 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 because you already welded it. And I'll try to balance it for you. And he did a great job. He actually balanced it. He stuck weights on it and all that stuff.
Cool.
Which what we do, though, you rip them off. I mean,
Yeah.
The weights don't last.
Cody won't because he doesn't wheel. But everybody else will definitely rip them off with the wheeling. So I don't. And unbalanced drive shaft, I mean, you're running 40
Well,
tires.
if you stitch those weights on, they might last a little longer.
Oh, there you go. But then you're going to take the weight off. You're going to have the weld, which is going to be heavier on that
So
side.
you just underestimate the weight a little tiny bit, and then just run more weld on the weight.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it'll work. Balance out. Close enough.
On a side note, I'm proud of you, Graham, for buying 40s. I'm glad that you finally stepped up. Put your
I
big boy pants on.
I
had to call 4-wheel parts and figure out when they were going to be able to get me tires, and they were like, "Oh, it's going to be like 3 months." Not anything like that Atlas wait time, but
Yeah.
they basically told me that the manufacturer wasn't going to be able to get them to them, and I was like, "Okay, I'll just go find them." I bought tires on eBay literally 2 hours ago after I got my money back from 4-wheel parts
Wait,
for
when did
$300.
you buy
cheaper.
tires? What tires did you buy?
The Maxxis Raiders.
When did this conversation
I've already got a
happen?
shipping label on them. They'll
Oh shit! Oh, good for you, man. That's sick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good all-around tire, too. You're going to like that tire.
Yeah, I really like the Treps. If the Treps and the Razors have anything, if the compound's even slightly similar, which I think it is, I think it's the same.
It's the same.
Then,
My Tacoma had 40-inch Treps on it. I had Trep radials on my Tacoma, and they're great. They worked awesome. I had no complaints. Like your 37s, they worked very well. No sidewall issues. No, they did wear extremely fast.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
They're
I didn't even get a full season out of them. Yeah, I didn't get a full season out of those things. They were pretty bald when I sold.
I don't know.
Tires.
Like honestly, I've driven. I mean, granted, I've run through quite a few of them. I think I've gone through 2 full sets, plus like the random ones I just sliced the sidewall first trip or something. But I mean, they've gone on some pretty long drives, and I mean, on the last quarter tread, they start sucking. They don't on the road. They start doing weird shit. Nothing horrible.
I almost go with half. Almost like when they hit half, they kind of get shitty.
Yeah.
So
Because all the sipes are gone. Like the sipes don't even go. It's like
they don't. You're right. They don't. They're a quarter of the way into the top. Once you hit halfway point, I think they kind of suck. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? These tires aren't the same. I have no lateral support.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? The Razors, Matt, my buddy Matt, who has the TJ, Votor has a TJ with 37-inch Razors on it, and he loves it. He goes, I know Cody's all horned up about those stupid Generals, but he had those on there before 35s, and he sent up to 37s.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if General actually put some time and effort into their fucking
I don't think your input is valid because you don't wheel, so you don't have enough time.
My God.
To say that they have to do good or do bad because I've never seen you do anything.
Well, that's because you always fucking leave us. You never actually want to come and have fun with the little guys, so it's not like we wheel together anyways.
A Toyota on 43s. He doesn't want to hang out with your 35 fucking.
Exactly.
PDS.
Listen, I have fun. I did a Brook Ridge run and I led the green trails. So
you led the green trails. I know you led the.
So I was asked to lead the green trails, and I led the green trails with my buddy. I let the wife drive the whole time. But
yes.
I was just spotting people. Like, what do I do? I'm like, what do you mean? What do you do?
Just
you go. Just go. I'm not in 4-wheel drive. I'm like, you should be. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, why are we even? And then Cody doesn't even invite me to Marbell. Speaking of people that suck, I didn't get a hey. You want to come to Marbell? We're going out there.
Oh, okay. So first off, you're lucky you did not go this last run. This last run was fucking hell.
Listen, I would have made fun of a lot of people, including you.
There were so many people that just blew so many the gear sets. Well, I don't know what it was. It was like the day to blow gear sets.
Okay, we'll hook them all up in the truck. We'll drag them out.
Well, they had no problem getting out. It was just trying to change a 1310 with a carpenter's hammer just isn't really that fun.
Yeah, I heard that story.
But gladly I will. I forget that we have cool friends outside of just our club. Like that's our biggest thing. It's
Yeah.
just like we get so stuck on that. Okay, so a lot of the times whenever we try to branch out outside of our like local close group, like, not local,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean, like our close
Yeah.
group,
Your
it always
crew,
goes.
yeah.
Yeah, it always goes to hell. So that's why I forget half the time to even mention to anybody else, because it's just like, this is already going to be hell that I'm like, I'm not even going to mention it. We're like, shit,
Well,
I would
we
love for you to
should,
come
because
out. I
half
just,
the time the club doesn't even show up. I mean,
Correct.
we don't have anything planned, and I can't wheel until I have a control arm and a front gear set. So we're working
Yeah.
on that.
What do you have for gears for yours?
538s.
Do you need front gears?
No, I've got a 05 Plus that I cut some brackets off of this previous weekend, and I've got a gear set that I got from Luke. I don't know.
No.
I'm kind of sketched out by that gear set now, Luke. You know, what was it?
look at his face.
The Summit Racing gear set did me dirty at Harlan.
So I have a set of Revolution 538s if you need a set.
Okay.
I'll buy them.
Those are-
I need to
I
start.
actually have a rear axle as well. I sold my front housing, but I have the 538s for the front and a master install kit, and I have a 10.5 with 538s, which is a 10.25 if you want to get technical.
Yeah.
I have that as well with the truss and everything on it.
I
So
hope I
if you
don't
need
think
538s.
I need a rear gear set yet. It does have some pitting. I ran it to North Carolina. I drove it to North Carolina with very little fluid. So
Oh, you killed it, yeah.
it's fine. It's not bad. Like, it's not like there's no heat marks on it, but there is like pitting where it's been transferring metal. So it's not ideal.
It's sitting at the shop if you get in a jam or whatever. It's sitting at the shop if you need either of them.
Right.
I'm not doing anything with them this year, so it's just they're going to sit around. I don't have time to do it or the money, so they're just going to sit around the shop.
All right.
So if you do need either or gear set, they're both Revolution 538s.
Cool. Yeah, I'll keep in mind. If the bargain brand Luke ones that we've had sitting around forever, that I don't even. Do you know what they are, Luke? Are they motives?
I've been trying to interject
I
this.
know.
Those are spicers.
They're spice. Oh, okay,
those are-
perfect. So
Those are good.
what
Yeah.
Spicer does.
Those are
It's
good
where I
gears.
can set the gears up properly. Like I've said it. I think I've tried to defend myself on that gear set that blew up at Harlan.
Every
several
podcast.
times.
You've
Every
defended
podcast.
yourself.
I gotta. They really it hurt my pride there.
That's my biggest fear. Is I've done a ton of gear sets, and I get so nervous with setting them up and them blowing up, especially with one of my friends.
The only gear sets I've blown up are mine, and I mean,
I've never had a set blow up. I just get so nervous that I'm gonna fuck up my friend's gear set. I'm never gonna hear the end of it. I just did Mike Craig's gears in Charlotte before he waffled it off. So luckily, I don't have to deal with that situation.
oh, I mean, I will, because if
you
JB
do.
breaks them, I'm gonna have to.
Didn't JV?
JB won. I'm building his
JV.
axles right now for his Cherokee, and then so he won the buggy, and I was like, "So what's the plan with the Cherokee? Like, am I still building these?"
That was literally the first when I found out he won. Like that was the first thing I was like, "What are you gonna do with your Jeep now?" He goes, "I don't fucking know." He's like, "I might finish it, but like I know this thing needs work." And I'm like, "Well,
So
enjoy, buddy." Like,
It needs a lot of love. It's there. The front drive shaft's fucking whooped. I told Mike. He goes, "Make me a list." I brought it to Mikey's garage because he has heat. And I put it in Mikey's garage, and I was like, man, I did the gear set for him. He wanted me to make a list and start plucking away at stuff, and I was like, I don't have time or crayons to explain to you what this Jeep needs. So it just needs a lot of love. Like wiring, like under the hood, relays are just kind of sitting. The Fox Resi coilovers, they cut the windshield washer fluid bottle with it looked like a fucking utility knife. I don't even know what they did. And they stuck the reservoir in the bottle.
That's
I'm like,
amazing.
what the fucking shit is this?
It's a
I'm like, it's an
hidden
expensive
coilover.
coilover.
No, hide it in the
coilover.
resi.
Yeah, it's a Fox Resi shock just sitting in there, not zip tied, just sitting in the reservoir for the windshield washer fluid.
Funny.
And getting in that thing sucks.
Yeah.
I know JB.
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 Yeah.
He's skinny, so he'll get in there.
Yeah. He's a little guy.
Being a big guy, man, I did not like getting that. I don't know how Mike, because Mike's tall and dumb too.
Yeah.
I don't know how he got in that thing. And
That's probably why he did it. Was
Second part.
That's why Megan started driving. Was he hated getting in and out of the
No,
fucking
seriously. So the first thing you should do is a quick connect steering wheel. Honestly, just get rid of that fucking steering wheel.
He listens, so he'll hear this.
Yeah, the seats are awesome. Get a quick connect steering wheel, and that should be the first thing you do. That 04 steering, 04 Dana 60 actually turns insane.
Yeah,
So
we
I
were
don't know
talking about
what
that
might
when he was
get
at the
to
shop.
that. Yeah, it's nuts how much that turns. I bled the air out of that thing like 4 fucking times. I don't know why it's cavitating, but if you look at the fluid in that thing, that fluid's brand new. So the fluid
one of
in
the
there
lines
was
is leaking,
rubbish.
right? He was
Yes,
explaining
but-
this to me. It was like it comes
I
out
found
of
a
the
leak.
hose.
Yes, so the hose, that's what I'm saying. It needs, what you need to do is pretend it's not built and then just go through the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
And that's the one amazing thing that I'm happy that like JB won it through a waffle is that he didn't invest the $15,000 to get it to quote unquote where it is. So him spending another $2,000-3,000 bucks on it really is not that bad.
And honestly, it's just time. It doesn't need a lot of money. It's just time. It needs like hoses, and you probably need, $500, $1,000 max. In
Thank you for reminding me. I need to order those hoses.
What are you ordering?
Hoses for my hydro.
Oh, gotcha. But yeah,
that has a radial dynamics pump in it too. He bought Eric's.
Damn.
Eric's got a badass pump in that thing too.
So how the hell is it cavitating? Those things are like.
So I think it's the air, like you said, the leak on the
yeah, it's just sucking air in from the hose.
on the cooler. So like I think that was a cooler. I don't remember what was on the front. Stuff was pouring in the front. I believe it was the cooler, and it was pouring steering fluid. Like I said, the drive shaft was whooped and not long enough because they stretched the wheelbase a little bit to get to that whatever they were. That winch is badass. The thing's fast. Got that talon on the front of it. That thing is fast. It's a decent Jeep. Like it's got a lot of good parts in it, and he'll be able to wheel a lot of good trails. I'm glad someone around here got it.
Yeah.
And it's actually going to fix it. Like I'm glad that someone's going to put a little bit of love into it and make it better.
That's why I'm waiting for your waffle on your truck. I'm just gonna throw a couple bucks at that. Maybe I'll get lucky.
Let's do it. I'm in.
Because that thing would be stupid around here.
So my buggy, when we were down at Harlan last time, I was with a whole bunch of guys, and they said my buggy belongs down there.
It does.
That's where I'm. And I was at Harlan, I was doing all the trails, and I'm like, this is fucking awesome. And everybody's struggling. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Because I'm 180-inch wheelbase. I got a V8 with good power. I'm like, I'm fine. 43s. I'm like, what are you doing? What's taking you so long? It's. That down there is a different style of wheeling, and my rig fits right in.
In that fucking thing?
Yeah.
Holy
it's a fucking school bus.
Dude, I didn't know it was that big. God damn.
It's big.
My taco was 126.
What's what's the 4-door JK and LJ or JL wheelbase? That's
so
what,
the JK
stock.
It's 110 or 111, something like that.
Yeah, it's somewhere in there.
Something stupid. The 4-door JK, I hate to say it. A 4-door JK, I would drive a 4-door JK on tons with an OS. It wouldn't be a regular 4-door JK. But I liked, those things work very well. The wheelbase works well. The size of them works well. They work pretty well for what they are. It's just the motors are useless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious about that because I'm sitting at 109.5.
Yeah, it's a good wheelbase.
It's a
40s.
Yeah.
110 and 40s is perfect.
My old buggy was 111, so I knew I liked it. I just hated the old thing.
It's just.
That was the ZJ buggy?
Yeah.
That was the ZJ one. They had 37s on? Those weren't 40s?
37s.
Rams 37s on it.
Oh, the Treps, now I remember.
My axles came out of that thing, so my Jeep.
Oh, yeah, you had I forgot that was a 52. Yeah, I remember now. Yep,
that whole fucking Jeep lived on longer in Graham's possession than it did in mine.
That 50, I mean, Graham wheels decently hard for what it was. We wheeled at Badlands.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid to get on it. That 50 did pretty good for.
Yeah,
I mean, you broke a stub or a hub.
Yeah, I broke a stub shaft on the first trail, but that was it's the end of the first trail. We made it through the blue. I don't know what bound up that caused that to break, and then we smashed. So I don't know if we've probably talked about it on the podcast. We figured out why my brakes just randomly. Oh, you weren't there. That was Keith was there for that whole deal. So I ended up, my brakes randomly went out for no reason and then came back,
Yeah.
which was sketchy.
I heard you guys were talking about like the caliper. You hit the caliper.
Yeah, I must have smashed that caliper hard, and then right before Harlan, I was driving it back from Beverly to Salem, or to Marblehead, and the piston just seized up, and I could hear the fluid boiling.
Walking.
So it had must have broken the seal, and it was never braking right. Like, we drove it at Roush, it went to Roush with that bad caliper, and it never felt right. And everybody was like, oh no, that's normal, like, your brakes are supposed to be shitty. I was like, no, they're not. My brakes should be, this is not what they're supposed to be. And I lost brakes at one point. Last thing I want to do is just have that happen again in a shitty spot.
Yeah, of course.
So,
yeah, of course, yeah.
It was that, and the stub shaft, and the stub shaft really was just what killed my day.
I've learned when you do brakes on anything, my new theory is calipers, rotors, pads.
Yep.
If you're replacing pads, it's calipers, rotors, pads on everything.
No,
I don't play around with trying to make the calipers. No matter what you do, one of those motherfuckers is gonna die.
Yeah, and
no matter what you do,
Super Duty shit. Like, I feel like every time we have a big trip, one of them seizes up on me, just out of nowhere. And I drive my shit.
You could ever put on an XJ. Worst fucking calipers ever.
No.
I think that's a good way to say it.
Yeah, they're literally, when I did my pull rig, I didn't even have to do the brakes. I bought the pull rig. I didn't even look at the brakes. I bought it. I did calipers, rotors, pads, because I knew I was going to pull a lot with it. I did the Napa commercial grade pads that everyone talks about, and rotors and blah, blah, blah. It was like $700.
Yep.
Just shut up and do it. It's the cheapest insurance you can have. Pulling a gooseneck. I'm like, I'm not even playing the game. And I was talking to Luke about that because we were talking about pull rigs. I was looking at buying a newer truck, and then got scared because they're all $70,000 for a truck with like 100,000 miles on it. So I just said screw it, and I pulled the trigger, and I'm rebuilding my 7.3. Not that it's fast by any means. I did a KC Stage 1 turbo, 180/30 injectors, adrenaline high pressure oil pump, and went through the whole trans. Billet converter, billet flywheel, valve body, clutches.
Are you still dropping it down a few inches?
Yep, it's going down. So the front has a leveling kit, a 3-inch leveling kit, and I'm going to put gas springs in the front. I was talking to Capaldo about that. So it'll lower it about 5 inches in the front, and I'm hoping for around 7 in the back.
Fuck yeah!
So it should be a 5.7 drop. Whatever I have to do without C-notching the pack, I'm gonna go as low as I can. But still, I have old school Timberens. You guys are probably not old enough to know what Timberens even are.
Those are like those. What the fuck were they made out of?
Like a polyurethane, fucky thing. Okay, a lot of people are like, what the fuck's a Timberan? Like, use airbags. I'm like, well, back in the day, they had Timberans. And my truck still has Timberans in it.
Nothing comes out when it's vehicle related.
No, so it has Timberans, and everyone laughs, but they fucking work. So I'm not touching them because they're in the back. Yep. So the Timberan actually goes off of the Super Duty block. So the Super Duty block halfway up has a shelf going off the side.
Yep.
And the Timberan's got a bracket off the frame that uses that shelf. By me eliminating that block, I'm actually just going to use the actual tube. So by lowering it in the back, I don't have to change anything. So by pulling the block out.
To go back real quick to your note on the brakes, you are not fucking wrong about that being the cheapest insurance you can have. Because coming out of Harlan, I lost my fucking trailer brakes on some of those fucking hills, and like I squeezed to feel what was going on, and nothing happened.
Yeah,
and
it's scary. Yeah, it's a scary feeling. Yep.
I'm not even a quarter of the way into this fucking hill. Just slapped the fucking down 2 gears and rode the brakes down because there was nothing else.
Smokes your truck's brake. Yeah, it kills your truck brakes. That grade going into Harlan County. What the hell?
Yeah.
That is a nasty grade going into Harlan County. Oh, that's what I was going to do. You got to give Colin shit. I knew that you brought up Harlan. Reminded me. Ding, light bulb.
I wanted to talk to you about that more, but we'll cover
we'll get
that.
into that. The fucking tires on the trailer, because you guys are retarded. Are you running E's or F's?
I think they were E's.
They were F's in the
Were they
parking lot.
So you need to go to G's.
Clearly.
I'm not even joking. Like, he needs to just shut up. Is it his trailer?
No, we borrowed it.
JB's. So JB, that's what we had it last time, right? When we were at Badlands.
Yeah, JB was
Miguel's,
using it
but
then,
yeah.
and it's Miguel's trailer.
Miguel. It needs. That's got 6 tires on it. It's a triple axle.
No, it's got 2.
No, it's
got
2 axle.
Okay, so it's 8 tires. It needs 8 Gs. Don't even play like literally or 4. I'm sorry, 4 and 4. It doesn't have duals. It needs G's and don't even play the game. When Mikey,
it does have duals, does it not?
No.
Oh, that's the big
wheel.
trailer. Sorry, yeah.
So he needs to put G's on there. When we did Mikey's trailer, his new PJ trailer, I had 17.5s put on. When I spec'd it, I spec'd the trailer how I would build a trailer.
Yep.
So it has 17.5 trailer with G's on it. And those things are rocks. Like they don't die.
Yep.
Like you on a trailer, you're gonna replace them because they dry cracked. That's what you're gonna replace them. You're gonna replace them in 5 years because they're literally dry cracked. You're not gonna replace them from blowing them.
Yeah.
Stupid question, but what would you put on a 7K car hauler?
So this is what we're gonna get into. And I don't care if you have a 5K car hauler. It gets load range E's or F's. If you can get an F in your tire size, get an F in your tire size. You're an idiot.
It's got G's.
Yeah,
but that's factory.
I mean, blowing tires is kind of it's part of the adventure, right? You just spend $200 a blowout.
No, it's not. Because what happens is it doesn't matter. You can do NASCAR pit changes of tires. I don't care about doing that. I can swap a tire on the side of the highway in a couple of minutes. The problem is at 2 a.m. when you can't get a tire.
Yeah.
So after you go through your 14 spares that you guys went
we only had one.
Yeah,
we literally would blow one and have to find another one quickly before another one blew.
I bought Overly's gooseneck. So last year Overly was selling the gooseneck. I bought that. Ben's got the same gooseneck, like 10 years older than the one I bought, and he has F's on his. So he got new tires and he had a whole bunch of half tread F's. I'm like, well, I want 2 or 3 for spares for mine. And mine has brand new E's on it. Brand spanking new E's. Before this season coming up, they're coming off and it's getting F's or G's. If I can get G's in that tire size, I'm going G's. Yeah. I'm not even they're brand new E's. Like, I'm literally going to take off brand new E's and I'll sell them. Like, I do not want them on my trailer.
Yeah.
There's no point in and that's why my pickup truck is on 19.5s. So I took the big wheels off because they're too heavy. And 7.3 brakes are small, because they're not 05 plus Super Duties. They're like 3/4 of an inch smaller in the front and 1.25 inches in the back, which is pretty substantial for brakes.
Yeah.
So I shaved 65 pounds a piece by going to 19.5s. So that's a lot of rolling weight. So I did that, and I have F's, 2 F's, and 4 G's on the truck. They're mismatched when I bought the wheels. So I'm going to go all new G's on that as well. Because I do not want to change tires. What was that?
On mine, I use E's.
Yeah, but that E's are most of the time on a pickup truck, whether 16, 17, 18, 20, you're going to run an E. Some tires, they make it an F, but it's not very common. With the 19.5s, I'm in the 550 category in medium-duty trucks. So they do have the F's and G's for the 19.5s.
Yeah, they don't for what I'm doing.
And E's for you are fine. You're never going to have, you won't have any problems with E's on your truck.
Like, I'm debating eventually selling the trailer, but as you've heard from the other podcast, we're looking at buying a house in a couple months. I've got the Cummins project coming up. I got a lot going on. I wanted to do a fucking buggy this year, dude. Like, that was the goal, but
you don't even have a drive, or you don't.
Yeah, I don't even have a fucking driveway.
Let's start there.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. You gotta get a house first, and I got out of wheeling. I always come back to this stupid hobby I call it. I'm addicted to it, but I got out of wheeling for a few years. I got into like snowmobiles and I had quads, all that crap. And when I bought my
whichever sled.
my last sled was a 153 Summit, 800 Summit.
Why? Why do you need that
with-
big of a track? You
with a
just tired of you got to bridge the braking bumps? I
had
didn't know
three
you
inch-
guys
three
out
inch
there in the
paddles.
fucking
We
the
just
deep
put-
powder.
all we did was deep powder. That's all we did was deep powder.
Yeah, see, I had
I had a 3-inch paddle on it. It was badass.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I had an 08 Dragon 129. So like,
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's good.
dude, I could follow you anywhere with that fucking
Yeah,
thing.
I would love to see.
I can follow you
Follow
anywhere.
his
It's like
buggy
you can outwheel
anywhere.
me. Yeah, you can outwheel me. You can out-snowmobile me. Everything
I don't know,
you
I'm
can do
pretty
is better than
zesty.
me.
I'm
I'm
pretty
sorry,
zesty
Cody.
on a sled,
You're
okay?
the best. I'm sorry.
Where'd you guys go up to? Like Moosehead or you go?
We did Jackman.
Okay, yeah,
all the time.
perfect, okay. Yeah, so
So
I'd go up there with the 129 and I'd go off trail with it, no problem at all.
I would love to see you keep up with me off trail on a 129.
Got you. I got you. Let's
Blue
go.
collar off-road
So,
snowmobiling podcast.
Yeah, that's fine. So I bought my wife a 144 Summit with a
Yeah.
2-inch track, and I used to ride that.
Okay.
It was a 600, and I rode that more than I rode mine because they overheat.
And it'd be light as shit, and I can see where that'd be a little bit more fun on just.
Oh, it was
normal,
that sled
yeah.
was a blast. That sled was a blast to ride around. The 144, you could do all the regular trails, and
Yeah.
mine was the 3-inch paddles. If there wasn't
huge.
6 or 7 inches of powder, I was overheating my track.
Oh yeah,
You burn up the high facts. You burn
Yep.
up the high facts, and like literally, if there was like a small road section you had to run down, I couldn't do it. Like I'd burn up my track. So yeah,
Could you
it's a fun hobby.
Explain that for the retards in the room.
So, do you want him to explain or me to explain?
No,
it?
Cody's got it. No, Cody. Yeah, Cody.
No, okay, so the high facts are there's on a snowmobile that the track goes around in the back. So those are cooled because there's a metal tunnel that goes under where you sit in between the track, and that's where the coolant actually runs through. And under that track is called a skid. That's your suspension's under there. It's a kind of cool like scissor style suspension. Actually works pretty cool on some sled. I'm sure yours was uncoupled being a mountain sled. Which means that it would actually do pretty sick wheelies. But there's these plastic polyurethane, I guess you'd call them, sliders.
Yeah. They're almost like Delrin loop, like that self-lubricating plastic. They're like the HMMMW, whatever the fuck you call that.
Yeah, HMMV.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that is. It's like that.
So his on the mountain sleds, I believe they're like a low resistance style. They're a little bit different than your average like trail style sled, but it allows the track to slide under the skid on a snowmobile. And those fuckers are not cheap. I think they're like $80 a pair or something like that, and they're a pain in the ass to change too. They're not fun.
They're $200 for the 153, and they were. I burnt a set in 45 minutes at Pittsburgh 2 years ago because they didn't have enough snow, and it'd be about 15-20 feet off the road with dirt.
Yeah,
and I had scratchers on the track, and I had scratchers on the skis, and I still was overheating my track.
Holy shit!
I ended up renting a snowmobile. We pulled over. I said, "Fuck it!" I got so mad. I drove my truck in the trail and grabbed the fucking sled, and I rented like a 600 or whatever they had at the floor shop because I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, I already burnt up my high facts, and I was starting to wear my track. I'm like, I'm done.
Fuck that.
I was like, no, I'm done. No, everything we do, you get into crazy, just like snowmobiles and wheeling. You can jump into it full tilt. That's what we do when we get into stuff. And Luke's got his guns.
We're kind of retarded.
Yeah, it's the same shit. When you hop into something, you're like, I'm gonna buy this, 136 track. Oh, it's huge. The next thing you know, you're gonna a sled with 3-inch paddles. Yeah, exactly. That's what happens. It's just what happens. It's our mentality. We're dumb. We're just very dumb.
I do think the level of entry, though, for snowmobiling, like, to actually go and have fun is way more money than wheeling, though.
No, it's just $1,000 weekends.
Easy.
Go up north.
Easily. Not to mention the gas money is insane. You're spending, especially like, okay, yeah, if you have an E-Tech fucking Ski-Doo and you're spending $3 in oil and maybe $15 in gas for the weekend, like, yeah, you're not spending that much.
I ran all AMSOIL oil and all that.
Oh, yeah. We used to run Dominator. That shit was awesome.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Scented.
But it really is though. It has like a pretty nice scent to it. Funny enough.
Yeah, they scent them.
But it's crazy because you can get your local ditch banger $400 sled. You can get your
of course.
Cherokee, but it's insane because that $400 sled, and you take that up to Jackman or you take that up to Moosehead, you're not gonna have a fun time because you're running 80 miles an hour on a highway-sized trail. Like,
and then if you break down 28 miles from anything, you're like, fuck me.
And that's
start walking.
But dude, you can't. Like, you'll freeze. You'll freeze. You can't walk. Like, you're like, help me. Hopefully you're handle this, dude. You know what I mean? You can't.
It's horrible too because you literally have to spend then $1,000 on like your Klim fucking onesie just to have a little bit of warmth. Because
and not only that, you got to bring snowshoes because you can't walk in the snow. In the deep powder, you get lost. Your chest deep. You're chest deep in snow. You can't walk.
And it is crazy though how, or like even dirt biking, that's why to me wheeling is like not that big of a deal because dirt biking, I went into it, I was buying a $4,500 dirt bike at the age of like 16. To me, like buying the $1,000 Jeep is like, oh shit, that ain't bad. Granted, I don't have the bills, or I didn't have the bills then of what I do now, but still, it's just why is all the fun sports are expensive? Why is
you can have a $8,000 buggy and do reds. Like you can go buy like Mike Craig just bought that Dave Lane's buggy for like $15,000 or something like that. You couldn't build that thing for $15,000.
No, you
can't even touch that. It's a turboed 4-cylinder on built toy axles, seats. You can't touch that. Like $15,000, you could do you could go run humble pie with that. Like if you got invited, you could literally take that and do a competition and be fine.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know about Graham, but I quit counting when I hit 10K.
I never
in
count.
My Jeep.
I don't want to count.
But the 10Ks,
it's bad.
No,
it's not about the money. I am having fun.
But the point that I was trying to get to though is that for 10K, I feel like I have a very, very capable streetable rig. It's having some minor issues, but fuck, dude, like I got lucky on my build because I know people, Graham, Jeremy, I'm sure Iousa somehow through the fact that he touches every part in this goddamn part of New England helped.
It happens.
Tyler Herlock, who we just had on the podcast.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, dude was just like, I'll trade you a set of air shocks and an anti-rock for a set of tons.
Yeah.
Shit like that. Just
it's the community and as you get into this community I think the more built of the rigs, the better the people are, if that makes sense. So you're not going to have your kind of snobby people. I mean, there is some. I'm not going to say that there is definitely a few.
Yep.
But normally the very, very well-built rig guys, build them in their garage or something like that, or all your friends, your buddies do it. I love that style. Like, me and Mikey are working on his 2-3 days a week in the garage, and it's just what we do,
Yep.
I completely agree because there's a level, like, I don't know, it's kind of weird because it's like this personality trait that you have to have to get into the sport to a certain extent. So you really do find, like, I mean, when I met these guys, I did not expect that, like, they were going to turn into good friends. Like, I still don't know Graham's fucking birthday that bitch ass hasn't shared with anybody. But still, like, it's this level, and we're not even at the rockaholics level. But still, there's a personality trait that you need to have to even get into it. And I think it allows for you to become friends with anybody that you come across because you have the same mindset.
It is. It's your personality, and I like learning or teaching people to learn about wheeling and stuff. Like I like going out with guys like you assholes. I like going out with guys that aren't in full blown buggies, and like when you guys are just starting, like Kish's rig and like Marvell's rig, and I like going out with you guys and
Cody's
first
rig.
off, and Cody's rig, and showing you guys. Well, Cody's is pretty built for
Correct.
You see what I'm trying to say? Like, for a stock action rig. I like going out and I like showing what you can do with a rig, and getting your eyes open and taking you for a ride. Or Cody was a bitch, didn't go. And taking you for a ride.
Offer. Fuck you. I said I would go if you had an open seat and you had already offered it to. I think it was one of your buddies, but either way,
it was Craven. Craven took it.
Oh, fuck Craven.
Yeah, piece of shit, Craven.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Was he traveling the world now, fucker?
Yeah, fucking gypsy. He's a fucking gypsy. So, he was at the shop last night. So we were at Mikey's house last night working on the YJ. He's up here for 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
Tell him I said hi. And to come
I'm
visit me at Windrock.
Yeah, he's going to do Harlem with us. That's going to be his trip up.
Fuck, dude. You're making it really hard to want to drive 10 fucking hours to go wheel Roush when you guys are going to be at Harlan.
Yeah, we're going to be at Harlan. And then we'll be at Roush after, but it's the following weekend.
Yeah.
We're 1 weekend off what you're going to do.
No, sorry.
No, it's this hobby, and this is why I keep coming back to it's like crack for us. It's a great group of guys, and the Rockaholics is one of the best group of guys that I've wheeled with. And when Craven invited me to go with you guys to Badlands, I was like, fuck those Cherokee guys. I'm like, they're probably all going to suck. And then you ended up being pretty cool. And I'm like, oh, it's actually not that bad. I was like, it's kind of cool to hang out with them. You know, like they bust balls, and I'm like, oh, I can actually fit in. You're like, I can deal with these guys. You know what I mean? But when you get to not to say all JK guys are snobby, but when you get to like the higher end JK builds on like 35s, 37s, I just don't have the patience again and crayons to wheel with them and explain things to them because they're not like us. They're not getting their hands dirty and they're not doing it themselves. And I like when someone's trying and they're using their talents to build their rig. Yeah. And you're like Graham does stuff with people, and you see it where you're doing this yourself. Like, oh, I put in my own long arm, or I built my own suspension, or set up my own gears, or oh wow, the cage is ugly, but I built it myself. Like I'm trying. Like, give me some criticism. What should I change? What should I do? What should I like seeing that and seeing people grow in the sport. And getting people to keep going and want to do more things and want to go wheel more and
the growth is addicting because
it
for me, I've always liked building stuff, and it's just the deeper you dig, the more there is to find out about all this stuff. It's pretty. It just continues. Down as far as you want to go, and you can take any direction you want. Like you could go all into cages, you can go all into gearing. There's like so many different areas you could go crazy on.
You don't need to have I don't have lots of money. You don't need to have $1 billion to do the sport. No. You could have a $500 Cherokee and have just as much fun as the guy with the $100,000 buggy because you're laughing your ass off with your friends and you're beating the shit out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a throwaway rig.
And one of the guys that I shoot with said this, and I really, really fucking liked it. The further you go, the less you know.
The further you go, the less you know. Yeah.
I don't
see that. That's true.
I don't get it.
So you when you start out, you have this preconceived idea on what something is, and then when you actually know it, you realize how little you actually know. Because you actually understand the topic at that point.
Okay, yeah. I can get behind that. That makes sense now. I dig that.
Like, I know a little bit about building a 4-link, but I only know what I know about building a 4-link because Timmy was willing to sit there and go through probably 50 pages of Facebook Messenger.
A lot of crayons. A lot of crayons.
Yeah,
a lot of crayons.
Crayola.com.
Like the big box, all gone.
Yeah, the fucking huge box, gone. Like even the colors you don't like. Like
the white one? Brown, you got the black paper out?
The white ones, like the black, what are those black crayons?
All I know is that my favorite flavor is the Alpine Green.
Yeah, you would know a favorite flavor of crayon. So yeah, there's that, and the paste and all that stuff. No, but that's the thing is like guys, you meet guys like you guys, the guys you meet in the off-road community. For the most part, I'm going to go with 90% or 95% are guys like us that are just normal guys.
You guys have it easy though because you get like the reason that we even know you guys is because we have friends, or I have friends now that have taken the paces to get their vehicles to that point, to be where you guys even consider them a off-roader, if you will. Where when we try to expand our club, we get into these shitty situations of it. We don't know if this kid with an X-Gen 35s is gonna be like Richie Marvell,
Well, no,
me,
that's
JB,
half the fun.
or
You got to see who grows and who doesn't, right?
and
That's
it's
why you
that
have
one too.
prospect runs. That's why
Yeah.
you see guys are going to fit. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And that's why you have your crew of friends that you wheel with that's not in your club,
Mhm.
that you go out with. Because I have guys I wheel with. I'm not going to take them on a Rockaholics run. You know, like, I'm not going to take them with a bunch of buggies. Like, you know what I mean? I'm one of the least built guys in the club.
Yeah,
So,
true.
like, you know, I'm not taking them with them.
sometimes it's also just fun to go to like Ma Bell because look at where we picked you up, Cody,
Yeah.
if you will. And then we picked up Mark at the exact same
Yep.
spot because it was a small group of us that went. I think it was what? Graham, myself, you, Richie, I forget who else was on that run.
It was
There
a
was just a
decent
couple
sized
of
run
us.
because it was right after
No,
the
a
topless
decent sized run for us is still only like 5 rigs.
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah,
6.
I think Colin was there too.
Yep.
Oh
Well, see,
yeah.
And-
I wouldn't know.
No, I don't know if he was.
So I wouldn't know that he goes on these cool runs and meet people because Cody doesn't invite me on these runs.
Well, first off, he's talking about when I even met them. Like
Yeah,
we
this
weren't
was
even
even like before.
we weren't
Cody
even
was
really
part.
invited. We just kind of knew that
This was like 4 years ago.
Colin Bates, we were fucking like jerking off the idea of Colin Bates. We're like, oh my god, he's going to Montville. We gotta go. Dude, I was on 31s, open. Like I'm talking bald ass, janky ass 31s. Didn't want to spend any money on my Jeep. And they just happened to be there, or the club happened to be there the day after. We were just gonna go and wheel with like there was 3 people that like we were trying to expand our roster, if you will, of who we could go and wheel with. And we ended up, like, 3 of the people ended up dropping out. There was this girl who's really fucking annoying who ended up coming, but she was there. And, like, we just started talking with them. But, like, you don't find the drive that I have. You don't find the drive that Mark has just randomly. Like, that, I mean, not randomly, but, like, that's not often. That's not an often thing of where...
Well, it's
like,
a built thing. Like, honestly, when I first got into building stuff, like, I liked Jeeps. I grew up on the North Shore. Jeeps aren't really a thing. We don't have any space to do anything. I went to school in Maine. I had a buddy who was super into it, and I was like, whoa, like, those things are kind of cool. He had a TJ on 35s. Like, I thought it was, like, the shit. It was super cool. It was a total rot box. Like, it just totally changed my idea of, like, what a fun car could be. And that's sort of what I wanted to do. And I saw Cherokees. I was like, I'm going to get a Cherokee. I'm going to do that. And then, I sort of just, 33s, random shit. And then somehow we met Sean through, it was me and Jacob. We went and bought tires and like lift parts for Jacob's Cherokee at the time. And
Was that the 2-door that my buddy almost bought?
Yeah, the A-Team
Oh my
Cherokee.
God.
It didn't have the A-Team stripe at that point. That thing was a riot. So we met Sean, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to start a club if you guys want to come. And we were like, oh, sure. So we ended up showing up, and then I see Colin roll in and with his Jeep almost exactly as it is now still, like, and he just like crawls over a boulder. I was like, what? Like, it's just some people, I mean, even me, like, I just didn't think that was something that it was attainable, right? And then you see one in front of you, and like, and you talk to the guy, and then it's like, oh, that's really, I could do that. Like, that's something I could do I could work towards that in a few years and have something really fun. And I mean, everybody I'd met at that point in time was super cool. I'd had a ton of fun for the couple of years, even before I like really got into the hobby. Like, if you want it, you'll get it.
And you can always tell when someone actively wants to get further in by the questions they ask. Like, I don't know if you remember, but you were talking with me about what you have to do to make a Cherokee live at Ma Bell. While I was blasting around on 35s with lockers and a 3-link, one-shotting everything. Like, so I remember that because... Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. It was you and Marvell that were really talking to us about, like, what we were about, how we did what we were doing. And then that day that we rolled in with Mark, it was a small group again, and we just like cut through the middle of that group that was there, and we just hit the whole trail. And Mark started like, "Hey, can I take a look at your cage? I want to see this." All right, so why did you do this on your axles this way? What's
the wheels were turning. Like he saw that, and he had the same moment that I just described. It's like once you see one and you can talk to the person and they're down to earth about it, and you go through the thing even for like a minute, like it's enough to. I mean, Mark built a rig that's he's on 05 pluses, 40s. He like it blows all of our rigs away in a lot of ways. Like the thing's awesome.
And a lot of the stuff too is junkyard stuff. Like you can build a Cherokee on 40s and tons or whatever you're going to do, an S10 or whatever you want to build, a Toyota. You can get junkyard parts and make it work. You can do just leaf springs. You don't have to go, remote reservoir 3.0 coilovers and air bumps and blah, blah, blah.
I'm changing my front coils out, but they haven't done me wrong. Like I just
that's what I mean. You can run coils. You could take coils from a JK and put them in a Toyota or an S10 or whatever you're going to build or a Ranger, and you can make stuff work. And that's what I always liked was the Lego aspect of you building Legos. You're just building stuff. And
what's going to make it? What are you going to?
Yeah. What can I do? Yeah, and you don't want to be a retard. So you ask people like, "Is this a good idea?" You know what I mean? Rather than just doing it, or you're on old school, you're on Pirate, and you're going back and forth on 5,000 forums. And you're on Thread. Your finger hurts from scrolling with the mouse. You've been scrolling. You know what I mean? Your ass is falling asleep. You've been sitting in the chair for 4.5 hours trying to read about this guy's build when they did like the builds back in the day. And as soon as you put something up, they flame the shit out of you. Yeah, they're playing the shit out of you when you put something up there.
No, but like in all seriousness, I really miss that because that is a repository of information that is slowly going to fade with time.
Pirate's
gone.
We were super fucking lucky, or at least I was super fucking lucky because when I started to get into this, Pirate was there. Sure, it was old, and sure, some of the stuff was going. But I've been meaning to get back on there and create a thread on irate 4x4 just to kind of like keep some of that shit going because of
I haven't done the irate 4x4 yet. I have to try that one up. I haven't done that one yet.
It's the old Pirate with the old rules. So like it feels like, you're getting back in the driver's seat on your favorite rig.
Yeah, that was I used to love. I'm a little older than you, but I remember the Pirate going home from school and logging on your computer and going on the Pirate just to check people's builds. Like I had no idea I was ever going to have a rig on stickies. That wasn't a thing for me.
Yeah,
these guys didn't even.
It's not in the.
Oh, I'm never going to have something cool like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm never going to. The first time I went to Field and Forest, it was Gretchen's property. I went there and you went and met Gretchen and all that stuff. And we went in there and I'm watching like Frosty and all these old school guys that are still around now and they're wheeling and some of them still the same fucking rigs. And Mike has Frosty's old, that old FJ buggy there. I think it was Frosty's. It's got the H2s on it with the weld-ons. And like, that's cool stuff. Back then that was hardcore.
H2s with a weld-on?
Yeah.
Like rock ring?
It's Mike Demers, isn't it?
All right, so back in the day, Graham, to get those bead locks, you used to have to cut the center out of H2s and weld a new ring in. So you were welding the actual wheel center into the H2s.
They did some cool stuff back then. Like,
that's awesome.
So that like scenes. Mike Demers still has that rig. That rig was built in 90s. Like that rig, it's still running around with a 5.0 Mustang motor in it. I think it's got a C4. And it's got an Atlas. Like back then, like I didn't know what an Atlas was. I'm like, look at this fucking aluminum chunk. It's $2,000. I'm like, wow, I could never afford that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't $2,000 into my Jeep. They're here. Like
you could probably afford one now. You just can't get one as much.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
No, it's just I love the Atlases. They're great, and I've never. Levis Rob is the only one I've seen blow one up. He just blew up that 5-to-1 Atlas, and now they're saying they don't recommend. Yeah, they don't recommend. I guess. No, he's hard. He wheels hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they don't recommend anything over 4.3 with an LS.
Lame.
So the 5-to-1 is they're not recommending behind the LSs. So they're saying 3.8 or 4.3 for keeping them together.
I want to go LS eventually, but it's just not in the fucking cards. I'm
No,
gonna be
that's
doing
a
a
lot of
hand
money.
throttle.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, $2,000. You ain't kidding. It's a fucking lot of money. That's a set of tires. That's
I
a lot of
I
shit.
saved for months to buy my stickies. I was saving and saving, and my wife was giving me shit like, "You're gonna buy those things?" And I'm like, "They're expensive."
Yeah.
No, I just kept saving and saving, and then finally I saved up enough money to buy them. And she's like, "Are you gonna buy those things?" And I'm like $200 short, and my side money is different than my check money. So my side money, I put it in the account. I had like $4,800. It was like 5,000. So I bought them, and she goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, that's how much they cost.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I've been saving forever. Like, you know what I mean?
Well-
To try to get these stupid tires.
Yeah.
Like that's it's $5,000. You blink an eyelash, and they're gone. You know what I mean? It's just whatever. I finally bit the bullet and did it. But that was a big step. I've never spent that much on a rig. No matter a set of tires and wheels, it's a lot of money to spend on stuff. And now it's outrageous. Luke knows because of steel prices, and Graham as well. The steel prices are outrageous. When I talked to GoForth about getting a set of race lines, they were $150 more a piece than mine,
Yeah,
than the ones that I paid for mine.
dude, it's insane. I
Everything
wanted
right
to.
now.
Yeah, I bought mine last winter.
I
last
really,
December.
really want to try a set of the Mickey Thompson Baja, the Baja.
Bosses.
Yeah,
So Ben just bought a set for the MJ. So Ben's gonna have a set of 40s running around this year. I can't wait to see him.
stickies.
I think. No, non-stickies. He got the non-sticky ones.
I want to try the stickies, but they went from 5 and on sale 450 for a sticky 40 to 650.
So I remember Timmy had that problem. Timmy bought his Pro X's for 400 a tire, and now they're like 900 a tire
Yeah,
for those Pro X's.
Yeah.
They're nuts. The 43s, they're nuts.
I want to try them because it's like someone made a Goodyear rate or what the fuck MTR, but in a sticky that was almost affordable compared to the MTR. But
Yeah.
now the fucking MTR stickies are in a similar fucking price point. It's like,
The NTR stickies, they do work well. Dave Nichols has them on his. He's got 42s on that MJ. They work well.
I would love to get Nichols on here to talk with him about all the cool shit he's done because he's got a small shop, but that dude churns out amazing work.
Yeah, he does. He's doing Mike Craig's shipbox TJ right now. He's doing the cage, and I think he did a long arm, front and rear long arm of that TJ.
Yeah.
The street keep or whatever it is.
I give Mike credit because he does some cool shit, but that boy also eats crayons, and he's impossible to get a hold of.
Mike is retarded. I won't argue that fact. He's definitely retarded.
So,
Mike also, the hard part for Mike is he doesn't turn wrenches.
Yeah, that's
So
rough.
Mike doesn't. So doing what we do, if you don't turn wrenches, you're in the wrong sport.
No, you have to have deep pockets.
Yeah, you got to
Not
be
gonna
really
turn around.
dumb. You can't. I could not think about this hobby if I couldn't turn my own wrenches, or I didn't have a welder or a plasma or anything. I have a small garage. Mine's only 24 by 24. It's not huge. But my buggy fits in it.
Able to have that much space right now. You can literally see there's a welder and airline right behind me because it's cramped into my trailer.
Yeah, no. So it's to see some of these guys. Mikey's shop's 40 by 60. Mikey's shop's badass. When I have my stuff, my welder and everything's over there right now. So it's nice to have the space and the ability and just a friend to push you. That's all you need. Is when we go during the week, we get out of work 4, 5, 6 o'clock. You go over there for 2, 3 hours after work. It's pretty much to heckle each other, and then push the person to do something.
Yep.
What do you think about this tube, or what do you think about that? I'm like, just fucking do it and shut up. You need someone to push you.
Overcome the small roadblocks that you get yourself into because it's very easy with this where there is no master plan to follow. You can do whatever you want, and you can get in your head really quick.
Yeah, no, like you can, and then you get yourself all wrapped up. And my big thing is when I did my buggy, if something frustrates you or something stumps you, stop, do something else, and come back to it.
Yep.
You know, don't get yourself all wrapped up. I tell everybody, don't get yourself wrapped up. Don't get worked up. Don't turn into a vagina. Just like move on to something else. Do that, and then come over and go back to that. And you'll all of a sudden it'll flick. You'll hit a light switch. I need to do this, or don't stump yourself and get pissed off and. You know what I mean about stuff, and you need a friend to push you all the time.
Yep.
You need one of your asshole friends to give you an honest opinion. Like, are you fucking retarded? Like that doesn't work. You need someone to tell you that.
So close to taking the hatch off of my rig and bending up a tube to go across the back section, and I forget what it was, but someone in this group ended up pushing me to just throw the hatch back on and fix the spot where the bolts ripped through my roof.
Yeah.
And for driving it on the road, it's fucking nice because you don't get that back blast.
You don't get asphyxiated by exhaust fumes.
I just have that problem at Harlan.
Dude,
driving on the road, no back hatch would be a little suspect.
Yeah.
So my dad's got a big commercial property in the city down Fitchburg down there where we are, and I was doing a clean out in one of the tenants thing that helped my dad out, and I saw a Cherokee go by, no doors, both sided, no back hatch. And I'm like, look at this motherfucker on 40s. I'm like, this is badass. I gave him like a thumbs up. He probably no clue like that I'm in the rigs or anything like that. I gave him a thumbs up, and as I thumbs up him, he must have like swerved or something, and he got pulled over. So I was laughing so fucking hard. I'm like, dude, that guy's gonna get fucked. Like he's got no doors. It's both sided. I don't think it had headlights. Like I didn't see any taillights in the Cherokee, so I didn't see any taillights on the back because the hatch was gone. And I think he had like kind of corner armor-ish on the back. I'm like, I didn't see a plate. I'm like, oh man, this poor guy. And it was on like 40s or 42s running down a city, not like in the country or anything like that. I was laughing. I'm like, this guy, that's my man.
Honest though, down here, you see people driving legit like sand rails and buggies on the road all the time.
Down the south is like that, yeah. Florida and shit is stupid. Trucks with like 40 inches of lift. You're at a stoplight, you can see like, you're like level with the diffs. You're like, what are you doing? You're like, well, it doesn't even make sense. Like it's all the big hillbillies down there with like blocks under. Oh my god, it's so gross.
So speaking of the opposite of that, you had a fun time at the jungle and it snowed, and we didn't get to talk about the interesting part at the end of the day. Do you want to give us a little bit of? Because we're rolling on 2.5 hours right now.
Nah,
right?
Not even. We're at
2.5.
We're at 147.
Did we start at 6:30? Oh, never mind. Maybe I'm on drugs. But either
You're
way,
on drugs.
Before we get too crazy into it, I want to hear about that.
You want to talk about the crashing of the vehicles? Is that what we're talking about, or
everything? Give us a little bit about it because I don't think you touched on it on the podcast at all.
So we left. We left after we dragged that Ned's truck out because the oil pan and the trans pan had a hole in it. So we drug that thing out, winch on the trailer, and then we ended up heading out of there. We left. I left. Like I said, I think I talked about that. The trailer, both buggies were off. They drove them down the road. We drove like 30 minutes down the road.
Podcast, yeah, just saying. This is.
I didn't talk about.
Oh,
okay.
Nope.
So we got to the loading area where we had the truck situated. I couldn't even get the buggy on the trailer without pushing the trailer. So I'm like, well, this isn't going to work. So my friend Mikey had one of his buddies that he had from high school, like a high school friend, doesn't wheel. And he brought up like a Ford Fusion or some little Ford car, Focus Fusion. And I told my wife, I'm like, hey, take the Fusion, drive behind us. I'll have Mikey's buggy drive my buggy. Mikey will drive his buggy. And we drove them pretty much to 89. So we drove down the main road. I took the truck and trailer with no because it's a crazy hill. Coming out of the jungle. It's a long dirt road. So we made it out unscathed and then loaded by the highway. We loaded them up. They literally drove for probably 25, 30 minutes in two-wheel drive down the roads. They were bombing down, and they were all frozen solid. I would have had my wife drive it because she's good at driving the buggy, but there's no windshield. no windshield, no doors, no heat. And it was like 26 degrees, 25 degrees. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to make him drive it because it's a guy.
Yeah.
She can sit in the nice warm car with heated seats. So we left, and 89 was shut down. So they don't plow it. So it was probably 4 inches of snow on the highway. We saw 4 or 5 rollovers from there to Keene.
Rollovers.
Then, like full roll, like the cars were upside down in the middle. So we stopped to make sure that they were still okay, blah, 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 make sure people saw a plow guy, talked to him, and he wasn't plowing. He was just sitting on the side of the highway because they were shut down. And then
paid too to sit there doing nothing.
Oh, he was, yeah. I plowed for the state 12 years. I plowed highways with double wing plow. So we got back, didn't know anything about it. I texted Devin. I said, hey, we finally made it home. It was 9 o'clock. A lot of people stayed at Devin's house because the road was so bad. Yeah. They wheeled till like 7 or 8 o'clock. We were out of there like 2:30. Wow. So then Max left. He's got an international, I think it's a 4700, probably like 2000 international, with his Cherokee on the back. He went down the big hill, and supposedly someone was coming up the hill in a crew or something like that happened. He ended up jackknifed, and it pushed his truck field. So that was the one truck that I saw pictures of on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw pictures of that one.
Then there was that crew cab long dead F350. It was a new truck. It was I've never met this guy before. It was a TJ on 40-inch stickies, coilovers, and he ended up jackknifing his truck and shoving the trailer into it. And I guess one other guy slid off the road into the ditch. The road was gnarly, and we left again at 2 or 2:30. These guys were leaving at like 7, 8 o'clock, so they were getting about 2 inches an hour. So by the time they left, I bet you there was 8 inches of snow.
Yeah.
All 8 inches of snow on a frozen road.
Yeah, you're dragging the trailer axles, just going anywhere.
Yeah, I literally I went to put my buggy on the trailer, and I pushed the truck and trailer. The truck was in 4-low off, in first gear, in 4-low with the e-brake on and everything, and it literally pushed the truck and trailer. I couldn't even get the buggy on the back.
Ice ramp.
And he's got ramps, and I'm like, dude, I said, we can't drive. I can't put the 2 rigs on that trailer. It's 16.6. That trailer is pretty heavy. Yeah. So it's almost 17,000 pounds. I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm going down a mountain with a second-gen Dodge. I'm going to end up wrapping up your trailer and your truck.
Yeah. So
we got to the big hill, and they were behind us in the buggies, and my wife was behind me in the Fusion. And the trailer decided it wanted to pass me, so it pushed me, started to jackknife me. So I dropped 4. I was in low range. I put it in 4th and dumped and locked the trailer brake. So I got the truck to straighten out. There was the guy at the bottom clapping, like doing a round clap because I didn't crash into him. And I thought I was going to wreck Mikey's truck and trailer. I'm like, oh, please don't wreck Mikey. He's going to watch you wreck his truck and trailer.
Yeah.
I say, oh, no. And then I looked in my mirror as I got to straighten out, and my wife almost hit the trailer with the Fusion because it was glaring dirt roads. They don't maintain them. They're plowed eventually, but they don't believe up there. Vermont's a little different because they're all hippies and hipsters, so they don't believe in the whole situation. So we got out. Yeah, so there was 3 good wrecks. We luckily didn't wreck, but 3 of the guys that left did wreck their trucks, which sucks. I told Mikey, if it gets real bad, we can't do it. I'm just dropping the trailer with the buggies on it at Devin's house. We'll go crash at a hotel or something like that, and then just the truck, you know what I mean? And then we'll go home in the morning. I'm not going to play the game of trying to do it. We made it home. It just took us 5.5 hours.
I forget what run it was on, but I was coming back from one of the runs in the Chevy 1500 with my Jeep behind it, and when it starts snowing and you're fucking towing, that shit gets so fucking sketchy because...
it does. I drive tractor trailer, so I drive in the snow. I drive tanker. So I deal with the snow going into Boston, and most of the time I won't go until late, or I'll do a load later on in the day, or I don't even bother driving it. It's not worth. I'm worried about everybody else. I'm not worried about myself. I'm worried about every other retard crashing into me.
Yeah.
We were coming back. Yeah, we were coming back. I forget who was with me because it was a while ago. But we didn't have snow in Massachusetts. We hit the Connecticut state line and it was just like white out.
Yeah,
And it's like, what do? Do you just stop and hope that it
that
ends? Do you
that's the
keep
worst thing you can do.
going?
Yeah, so that's the worst thing you can do is stop. So
Um,
that's your pile up. You know.
yeah, well, I didn't mean like stop on the highway. I meant like go
Oh.
and park in a gas station. But it's like, do you keep going because you know that you're driving into it getting worse?
Yeah.
But do you turn around and go back to Massachusetts and find a place to crash? Like, what the
Nah,
fuck are you supposed to do? It's 8 o'clock
I mean,
on
if
a
you're already
Sunday
at that
night.
point, you have to like just
Yeah,
kind
you
of
commit.
ride it
Just
out,
commit.
unless
Yeah,
it
just
gets
commit.
really bad.
Every year we go to Roush. I don't know what it is on the first trip of the year. We go to Roush every Memorial Day weekend ish, and every time I go, I swear we get stuck in a fog storm. So like every time you can't see anything. I don't know what it is when we go to Roush, but every time I was behind a tractor trailer going about 75, 80 mile an hour, like 2, 3 in the morning, because we normally get there for 6 or 5:30, and I'm literally falling and I'm laughing. My wife's in the passenger seat. I'm like, if he drives, I'm following the 3 lights on the top of the tractor trailer. I was like, if he drives off a bridge, because we're still going 70 mile an hour, and I'm like, I'm just keeping up with him. So if he slows, I'm like, he apparently can see something.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is that he sees, but I'm just following him. And every time I get stuck in these fog banks, when you go down there, I don't know what it is about Roush, but it always gets me early in the morning down there.
Mm-hmm.
On our Saturday last year, it was fucking foggy. Like you could barely
gnarly.
see
It's
like
gnarly.
5 feet in front of you. It was pretty bad.
I could barely see the end of my hood. I only saw the 3 lights dimly and I was just following that. I'm like, I hope it's a tractor trailer and not like a UFO with some shit. I'm
Like
just
a plane.
whatever, man. We're just going for it. Like the lights are going the same speed I am. I'm not gonna hit my brakes, so I'm just gonna. I couldn't see my trailer. I'm like, I think it's still back there.
Yeah.
I don't even know. It feels like it's there. I'm just gonna keep going at his speed, and because stopping in the highway is the worst thing you know. That's when you'll have a YouTube crash of 96 cars piled up on 81 or something like that.
Yeah. So, like, on my way back from getting the Jeep from Graham's, in between Knoxville and Chattanooga, which is, like, the way that I have to go to get home, there's this one plant that does, like, paper processing, and for some reason, around that plant, there's always a fog bank. So it's like, you can kind of see the lines on the road, and you can see the tractor trailer in front of you, and you just kind of got to keep going.
Yeah, follow is all you can do. Yeah, all you can do is just kind of commit. Snow's the same way when you get in those bad, whiteouts in the snow. It's the same shit. We used to plow. I plowed Route 2. I did the main line on Route 2 with, like I said, a double wing, and I had a calcium tank on the back and a sander and a big Oshkosh. And you can't see. Like, I'm just using the guardrail. You keep rubbing my plow against the guardrail. And I was the first one in line. I'm like, I know I'm there, so it is what it is. But like, if someone stopped on the highway, I'm hitting them at 20 mile an hour. Like, oops, I'm just gonna push them. Yeah, my bad. You know what I mean?
So we are kind of coming up on our time limit, but I got a couple questions for you about Harlan. What trails do you like there? Like,
my favorite trail would be Mason Jar. So I really liked Mason Jar.
Mason Jar's a cool one.
Yeah, Mason Jar was a cool one. There's another one we did. It was by they call it like a rock crawl. It was like this long, on the side of it was like a class 6 road, and it was like a rock garden.
Middle Rock Garden?
That one. So
yeah, we were up there. That was a blast.
We did a water trail and a river over the area. You drove, and we got this huge, I call it a of water. It rained like I've never seen it rain before. It rained so hard on us, and you were literally driving in 6 inches of running water on this. And the trail didn't have any water on it before it started raining. Like, it was wet, but once it started raining, it was like a river.
With more rain than like the Badlands rain that we got.
No, it was like that. It was like
that shit was crazy. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. Like, the skies weren't too bad, and all of a sudden it was like it opened up, and it was like 2:00 in the afternoon, and we had our lights on. It was dark. You couldn't see, and I was getting stoked from every direction. And I'm like, you know what? I hate the rain. I'm like a fucking cat. And I'm like, you know what? This is actually pretty cool. Like it was warm. I'm like, this is actually cool. Like I actually enjoyed going up that. But my favorite trail would probably be Mason Jar.
Okay.
There was a couple good ones, but that would be one of my. Lions Den was. Did you guys do Lions Den?
I wish I could have done it, but I watched Jason Ramsey and Curtis go through there.
She being a bitch.
My Jeep was blown up. I had 2-wheel drive. I'm gonna do Lions Den and 2-wheel drive.
I forgot.
And like the 3 teeth left on my ring gear.
I take it back. I forgot you blew up before that. I forgot. I'm sorry.
It would have been bad. It would have been my tail.
No. I think so. The initial drop in kind of sucks.
No, fitting my Jeep in between that tree and the rock. To do what Jason and Curtis did would have been. My hatch would have been gone. I mean, Curtis's to get through. Curtis literally flattened the back of his Jeep.
So I got some gouges on the top of my tube, on the top of my axle.
You basically have to be like sideways.
Yeah,
to get through it.
I was completely sideways. I was completely sideways to that. I expected it to be longer.
It's pretty
just
short.
The main drop in, and then like you're talking about that rock and tree. You got to climb up around. Then it throws you passenger underneath the other rock.
Yep.
Like the wall coming off like a 7 or 8 foot, whatever, 10-foot wall. Mm-hmm. It throws you into that. So you're on your sidewall, your passenger time, and you kind of flop back down, and then there's one more climb out, and you're done.
Yep.
That was it.
The last little bit isn't anything special. That's easy.
No, it was the last little bit. Yeah. You probably you definitely get body damage, but I think you would have.
It would have been brutal on the body, but I think I probably could have made it through. It might have actually been easier because I see razors were going through, or the side by sides were going through there.
So I didn't see none of the side by side guys that we saw went through there.
We watched like a whole parade of them go through. They literally just like all skinny pedal and they just hope for the best.
That's all I do. A razor's like a light switch. It's just full throttle and then off. That's all those guys do.
They would belly out in that last little bit, those flat rocks like right at the end.
Yep,
the only way to get over that is to just hammer it because the belly bottoms out and the wheels don't touch anything.
Yeah.
And
I got done and I'm like, where's the rest of the trail? And like, that's it. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
This is where you guys. I'm like, I didn't even think this was like. It was hard. A little harder than that. We didn't. There was a couple other ones we did though. I don't remember the names. So when you left that, what'd you call it? Lower Rock Garden or Mid Rock Garden?
Mid Rock Garden.
So when you came out of Mid Rock Garden, got done, to the right.
Yep.
There was a trail right on the right. That was a fun trail. It was all loose, really loose, long climb up.
Okay. The thing that I want to do is I want to get into the backside of the park, and explore over more where Lion's Den is, because we really didn't get any time over there.
Yeah. So we did the whole entire park, every corner. We did everything. In 4 days.
I was surprised the amount of obstacles they have there for how big the park is less
minimum.
than I expected.
Yeah, minimum.
And like Luke going around, like when we went up to Lion's Den, we took the sort of like a switchback, like on the edge of the mountain road to get there. We didn't take the green.
That's trail. That was
it was almost sketchy because of how wide the rigs were. Like you're watching the tire like hang off the edge of the drop off.
My thought was, what if another rig comes down?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, sorry, back up.
TJ, we were coming out that way. We came out the switchback way, and TJ's rig decided didn't want to run anymore.
Oh, fun.
So I got stuck fucking dragging him. So I drug him out, and he had full hydro. So no steering. So I had to drag him out. I'm like, please don't drive off because you're gonna pull me.
Yeah.
I was like, so there's no it's tight.
Yeah.
Did you guys do Mason Jar?
I watched everyone else do Mason Jar. Yes.
You started from the bottom, or did you go up on
bottom to the top?
So there was that because there was that hard. We went in and didn't know. We went in by the power lines and didn't know the trail came. So we turned around and came in. So we actually went through the sketchy off camber from the power line side of that was really shitty. We went through there, ended up turning around, coming back down, and that was a long, steep grade down.
Yeah.
But Mason Jar was, I think, one of my favorites. It wasn't like crazy hard.
No, but it was cool technical. That
It was a
one
lot
that
of
first spot was
the first spot.
you kind
And
of
there was
like
a
ride
really
the edge. But there were other
there was
ways
a
to do
really
it.
big wall. Yeah, there was. There's a million ways to do it. You
Yeah.
could do like a 5,000. There was a really big wall, probably
Yeah,
around
the wall about
halfway
halfway
on,
up was cool as
on
well.
the right. I was the only one to make it up that.
Yeah, you got the wheelbase.
So no one else. Cricket couldn't even get his tires on it because it was such a tall. It was all of. I needed like 120-inch wheelbase to make it not sketchy because you literally just saw the sky. I had my suck down winch in all the way. I had it sucked up, and I got my tires on it. And I stomped it. And I let her eat, and she crawled up there.
No,
So that was it.
That's a steep one.
That was really that's one of the steepest climbs I've done.
Yeah.
That was really steep. That was completely vertical. That was a very, very steep climb.
Yeah, I was just curious because, like, I want to see more of that park, but I also want to see if there's more for me to see at that park, if that makes sense, because there's not, like, a lot of...
I'd go again. I mean, even
black
just the
trails.
environment on that property was cool. Like,
Wild.
everybody
So-
we met was cool.
We joked around about doing the math, and I think it's actually, if you go for 4 days, it's actually cheaper to go to Harlan, including fuel, than Roush.
Damn.
Because Roush is fucking $60 a day to wheel.
True.
Yep.
So you gotta, like, that's the only downfall of Roush is. It's so expensive. Like, I know it's only $60 and it's a huge park. Okay, I'm not arguing with you. But when you go to Harlan, it's $30 for a month.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you have 2 rigs on a gooseneck, so you're already splitting fuel going down there. It's in the hotel. The house rental was cheaper. I told everybody, I'm like, if we do the math, I bet you it's the same money to go to Harlan as it is to go to Roush.
Yep.
You know, dollar for dollar. You know what I mean? Dollar for dollar down there.
I just, like I said, I don't know if there's more trails that are actively
I
not
think
hard, but like
I think there is.
technical and fun.
I think there is. If you didn't get to do like all 4 corners, did you guys get to like the lower area where the other campground was?
No.
Okay, so you guys missed a lot. There's a couple cool creek trails over there where you actually drive in the river.
Awesome.
Down on that side, which is pretty cool. So you guys missed. You could definitely go back and you'll see a lot more. As far as like technical trails, I think Mason Jar and a couple of the big climbs were it. What's that rock face? It's always on YouTube. Railbed?
Yep.
So
Railbed is a fucking party at midnight.
Oh yeah. So I one shot at Railbed, and then I went up after Railbed. If you went over to the left, there's like 3 big climbs. Did you guys see that?
We didn't make it
on
that far up.
Okay, so when you go over Railbed, which is the big rock face at the bottom,
Yep.
you go up and there's 3 trails. So the right is like steep, but you could do it on like Cody's XJ. The middle one, he would hog on it pretty good, but he would probably get it. The left one, no one got.
Oh shit!
I didn't get. Cricket didn't get. No one got it. And this was the 3rd day, so it was almost the end. We had 4 days at Harlan, or no, we had 5 days. This was the 4th day. I was hogging on mine, trying to make that because I already had a whole bunch of wheeling done, and I would have fixed it before Roush, whatever. I was hogging on it, and I couldn't make that.
Damn.
I was 2nd, 3rd gear limiter. I could not make that. So there is definitely some more little climbs like that. I'll send you a couple of videos, Luke. There's another big one. Again, near that middle rock garden. There's a lot of trails around there we did of stuff I didn't even put my tires on. Cricket was playing on it, and Mark was playing on there with the bent chassis. Big, huge climb. I didn't even. It was all big boulders. I wasn't even going over there. It was just not my buggy's spot.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for AOP. I don't know if you've been there.
Nope, I have not. I've heard good things about it, and I have not been there.
Well, Graham
May
and
13th
myself
and
are
14th.
going.
When?
13th and 14th of May.
May, March.
There's gonna be a bunch of guys there.
Yeah.
You're gonna go for a week, or how long are you going for?
I'm probably gonna go. I was thinking like
It's
probably
an
drive
hour
down
from
the
my
11th.
place.
Is it,
You
Yeah.
could
send me,
crash wherever.
Graham, send me a message with those dates.
Okay.
All right.
Because I don't have anything planned. Middle of summer, I have my next. I have trip going to Harlan, and then we have 3 weeks at the end of the year. We're doing Moab.
That's awesome.
Oh shit!
So we have 3 weeks at the end of the year play, and we're going to do Moab, and we're either doing Fordyce and the Rubicon Trail, or
Sand
Oh,
Hollow.
Oh, no,
See
well,
cool
we're
while you're out
Moab.
there.
Do
no,
Sand
or we're
Hollow,
gonna
from
no,
what
we're
everyone
gonna
says.
no. I want to do the
Pictures.
tourist side.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to do it, and the buggies are going to be stupid. I know that,
Yeah.
but we were talking about doing either. We're going to spend 7 days in Moab, and we're either doing 5 days in Fordyce and Rubicon Trail, and we'll crash up
That'd
there,
be cool.
or it's actually 2 hours less to do Johnson Valley.
Oh, okay.
So me and Mikey were like, fuck it, let's just do Johnson Valley.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're like, kind of like, we can go do Turkey Claw and fuck around a back door. I'm like,
See,
Valley.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're already doing the Facebook photos at Moab, so there's no point to go to the Rubicon Trail when you could just go to
You know,
Johnson Valley.
Leave
That's
that
what
for
I
the
said, I
next
was like,
big trip.
You know what? We're gonna save like 4 hours of driving by going to
Wow.
Johnson Valley.
Hmm.
And my wife's like, "What the hell is Johnson Valley?" I'm like King of the Hammers. Like, that's fucking Johnson Valley.
Yeah.
So we might just do Johnson Valley for 5, because there's a bunch of shit out in Johnson Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's and what I was told by Todd, is it Thorne? I can never say his last
Todd
name right.
Thorne.
Todd,
Yeah.
Thorne, that's it. All right. He said the problem with Moab is when you go once, you're going to go every year.
Huh.
He said that's the problem. He said, so if you go once, he goes, you're going to go every year. He goes, it's such an awesome trip out there, and they do Sand Hollow a couple times a year. Him and Swenson.
Talking kind of casually with Tyler about taking a trip out there, go race or ride in the RZRs with him.
Yeah,
So-
he's outside of Phoenix, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not too far from Moab. So
No, it's not.
Arizona's got some gnarly shit too. All the Undertakers, and we got some
Yep.
gnarly shit. Arizona, New Mexico, there's some gnarly shit. Mikey found some stuff in South Dakota, Grand Junction, Colorado.
Oh yeah, Grand Junction is fucking gnarly.
Grand Junction's got some
Right out
gnarly
there.
shit. Like I want to do a bunch of the Arizona stuff. I would love to go down there where the Undertakers are. They do a bunch of shit down there. So I'm a big fan. That's what I'm trying to get the wife to move, is Arizona. I would like to live northern Arizona.
Wow, you're leaving us already.
No,
Wow.
I'm not leaving.
Dude.
I haven't. She's not convinced. So
Dude.
I'm convinced.
I tell you, I don't know if you've lived in New England your whole life or not.
Mhm.
Best fucking thing I ever did was watching New York disappear in my rearview mirror.
I've been all over the world. I've traveled a lot growing up. My dad was good to us. We traveled a ton, so I've been all over the place. And out west is still my favorite. Boulder, Colorado is still one of my favorite places I've ever been. So I love it out there. I just don't want snow. I don't want to deal with snow anymore.
Dude,
So
It's not
I
that bad.
cannot describe the feeling of seeing New York leave the rearview mirror
No,
and
yeah, New
knowing
York
it's
sucks.
the last time.
No, it's
no.
not, because you're coming back up at some point.
Right?
You had to come
Family
back
in
and
New
get
York.
the
Not
Can I
what
say
I
his
meant.
name? Like, can I
Well,
say
it's
his
gone
name
forever.
statement?
I'm
Like,
never
see
going
you
back.
later, family.
Not what I mean, but like I mean that when you realize that that's not like around you anymore and you're leaving the area, it's awesome.
no, it's huge. It's so beautiful out there, and people don't understand that. Like, I grew up on the wrong coast. That's what I tell everybody. I'm on the wrong side of the country. I don't want to be in California. I don't want to be living there.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful, and the weather is fucking beautiful.
Yeah,
So I would take the weather and everything out there.
See,
I just oh sorry.
go ahead. I mean, go ahead, you go ahead. Sorry.
I describe Appalachia as home to me just because I feel more like I belong in this area, and I want to go and hit all the parks around here, like Dirty Turtle.
Well, there's a ton down there. There's a ton there.
And I'm really lucky because of the Trail Trash guys being so open and being like, yeah, just come with us to this, and these are all the parks in the area, and Brad's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we're right over by AOP, so I've got people to wheel with, and it's fucking awesome.
Well, you already have a built rig and Graham and all that stuff. You find someone, even Cody. You find someone that like will wheel with you. Like you get into, you go to an Arby's or whatever that you want to go to Sonic, some restaurant. You pull into a parking lot, someone's got a Cherokee on 40s. Like, they're like, hey, we're gonna be friends. You know what I mean? Like you just know, like it's what we do. Like, hey, where do you guys wheel? Like, oh, I got a Toyota on 43s. Like, what do you do? You find that Toyota guy. You know what I mean? Like it's all clapped out. You're like, I'm gonna like him.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
it's like, you just no matter where you go, if there's wheeling parks around, there's going to be private land and blah blah blah. Join a club or whatever, down there, and tag with those guys. Trail tracks is huge for you. Being able to do that, you got to just tag along with people, and you'll fit in. You know what I mean? Because we all have the same interests. And,
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Just like back to the community thing though, because it's like you can just meet people, and you might not like the first group, you might not like the second group, and you'll probably like the third group a lot.
Yeah. Or like one guy out of the first group and two guys out of the second group and make your own group. You know what I mean? And make your own crew, and that's how it is. And that's how this hobby is you want to be with people that are always in good spirits and thinking ahead and how can we make this better.
Well, that was one of my favorite parts about Backyard Built was like when I first got there, I was the odd one out when I had the buggy, but like slowly we kind of shaped it into something that was really, really fucking cool to watch evolve, because it started out with, Graham was on 35s, Colin, and Sean didn't have a buggy, and now people have got buggies. Graham's rig is as far as you can take a streetable XJ, and like watching that kind of progression was fucking cool.
It doesn't go very far.
Awesome.
It's on jack stands.
Speaking of
The tow guys next door are making fun of me. I had to put my that one sticky I've got that it's on that I need you to patch for me or send to your guy to patch, Chris.
Yeah.
I had to put a jack stand under that side because the tow guys would make fun of me. They're like, "Oh,
Well,
your tire's flat again today."
Tell Colin to come get his fucking tire. I have Colin's tire.
Oh,
I had Colin's tire. He paid for it and everything. Colin's tire is fixed. It's sitting in front of my garage. It's full of snow. So
Colin is very hard to get a hold of these days.
he's MIA right now.
He paid for it. It's
All
sitting
right.
there. So someone wants a 37-inch Goodyear, like 7/8 tread. It's sitting outside my garage, and it's got about it's full of snow and on ice right now. But have him come grab that, or when you drop off yours, just take that thing.
yeah.
Well, it's just
as
sitting.
soon as I
I
get-
don't care. It doesn't matter to me. So
Yeah. As soon as I get these new tires, I'll take those stickies off. I think there's another one that might have a hole. I gotta check it. If I've got two, I'll bring them down.
my guy doesn't care. I'll get him done. So
Cool.
Yeah.
he doesn't.
Speaking of the community, though, something that I want to bring up is how similar the wives and girlfriends are in their personalities, and how a lot of them, like, I'm not even kidding, like, you'll go to one of these events, you'll meet somebody's girlfriend or whoever that, like, puts up with the same shit that your girlfriend, or and they're just like, you understand. Like, it's so funny.
Mikey and those guys, they call my wife Camp Mom. Because it's Camp Mom, so she's cooking. Hey, what do you want for a sandwich? So she's making sandwiches for us for the trail. Like, hey, what do you want for breakfast? She's making breakfast. Or, hey,
That's Morgan.
Yeah, so it is. It's Camp Mom. So like that's it is what it is. That's what we do because it's our community. Like Ben now cooks breakfast, so we know that. So because they don't get the lunch thing situated, when we get back and pasta and stuff for us for dinner. It's like a big community.
I've got to ask. Does she give you the disgusted looks when you're getting like shitty with the boys, or?
So I don't drink. So
Never mind.
So she will. I used to
The
drink.
look would definitely be disgusted though. If you start drinking now.
Oh yeah. What the hell? One of my buddies, Matt, got 2 DUIs in a month. So I was his sponsor, or his, helping him, and I was the one out of all my friends. We were still drinking heavy, so out of all my friends, we'd go to the bar, and he was the only one not drinking, and he's one of my best friends. So I'm like, fuck it, I just won't drink. So he's the reason I stopped drinking. So it's been 12 years since I just stopped for him. Like I didn't care. Like whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So like I've tried to have a beer. Like I can't. It's been so long. I just can't. The taste doesn't do anything for me. So, but I'm also a really early riser. So you guys will figure that out when we
Yeah,
wheel.
you
I'm
are.
up. I'm up.
No,
Yeah.
you're out like you've been wheeling and you're coming back and we're like,
I
No.
wake up to your rig driving by. Like,
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't play the sleeping game. So if I go to bed at 2 in the morning or I go to bed at 9 at night, I'm up at the same time in the morning. So there's no sleeping in. I have kids, so my kids are up at 6 every morning. So like I'm up early, and for me not to drink, it makes my life a lot easier in the morning.
Yeah,
So-
I can respect that.
You know what I mean? Like, and again, I don't care. It's not like I'm. It doesn't bother me. Do whatever you want. You know, we used to put down handles of Jack Daniels all the time. I drank. We drank heavy, but
Yeah.
I just stopped from that. That was what was my stop. I'm like, I'm driving for a living now. I probably shouldn't get a DUI. Like, I'm just kind of my career. I'm like, that's right. So
No,
like, it's
I
kinda-
was just curious because, like, my girl does the same stuff with the camp mom type thing, but when we start drinking, she'll partake to a certain point, and then we just get, like, slightly more and more disgusted looks the stupider we get.
yeah. She doesn't. She'll be the one that I'll come back to the camp and she'll be like, "Do you want me to make some food?" And we're like, "Yeah." So that's why we call her camp mom because it's 2 in the morning and she's whipping up, kibasi or something like that because we're starving. So I'm like, "Come on, we're hungry." Like we're a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
So she'll come and she'll cook for us. That's the again, though, like Cody said, it's the wheeling mentality of the women that we wheel with. They got to understand what they're getting into with our hobby.
oh yeah, it's really funny just to see like, or like Ryan's wife. Her name's Steph, right? Right.
She's
Luke?
amazing.
It's like, I don't know, like it's funny because you can see the similarities between like Rob's wife and
Yeah,
Steph.
Melissa.
They're like the same person. And like, yeah, Melissa's a little bit more used to dealing with the kind of rugged end of it, where Steph still likes her nice, like sleeps in the hotel and whatnot. But it's funny. They have very, very similar, just like happy go lucky, very positive attitudes. And it's I don't know, they're the type of people when you meet them or see them, you have a smile on your face for the rest of your day because you're like, that's like it's just cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, you have to be. If you're a mopey person, I got no time for you. If you're my life sucks, this is dumb, I got no time for you. Like I don't like, I'll just brush you off. You're a waste of my time. I don't want to be hanging out with someone that's always in a bad mood. Like if you can't joke around and laugh, whatever. If you're just gonna be mopey, you don't waste my fucking time.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around that shit. I don't want to be around negativity, nothing. Like, yeah, you break, we're all gonna get grumpy and pissy and moany and have our moments. We need a Snickers or whatever you got going on, but just it's all in good fun, with our friends, and we all help each other. That's the bottom line is, if your rig's broke down the trail, I promise you that I will get your shit out. There's no ifs and buts around. I don't care if we roll it over the roof and drag that motherfucker. I'm like, we will get you out of the woods. Like, there's no ifs and buts around that we will not leave you. You know what I
That's
mean?
a really, really good point on that note. I need to do my fucking ball joints before Mag.
I mean, that's a random thought.
I don't know why
that.
I mean, he doesn't want to lose
fucking
one. Otherwise, he'd have
Roll
to tow
over
him
the
out.
roof, fucking ball
It
joint falls off.
Colin blowing the ball joint twice, and the amount of Herculean effort that has
You've got
gone into.
Super Duty ball joints. I've got Master Pros in mine, and they're still tight. Like, there's nothing wrong with them. Like, it's a totally different.
I know, but just like watching that happen twice has been like
You've also got U joints that are like twice the size of his. Like, they're not.
Yeah,
great.
you can't compare a Dana 44 anything to a Dana 60 anything. Like, it's not.
It's not. The same.
Everyone is all horned out about these goddamn ball joint eliminators. I fucking hate them. So I am 100% supporting ball joints. If you have an 05 plus, just run ball joints. Shut up with the ball. I've seen 3 sets of ball joint eliminators fail. 3 sets.
Good.
Fail. Just shut up and run ball joints. I'm pretty sure that Ford had $3 billion in R&D in their damn Dana 60s. And it's meant to hold a 9-foot plow on the front with a Mexican driving it and a sander in the back, pushing back snowbanks and all this other crap. Like, it's designed to have a 1,000-pound truck pounding it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Day in, day out. And yeah, you replace them every couple of years in a plow truck. In a wheeling rig, you probably do them once. If you even do them.
You hear that?
I
Curtis?
didn't do
I don't
them.
need ball joint eliminators. You can take the material and pull it out of your truck. I don't need it.
And you said Curtis doesn't even wheel enough. So you don't got to worry about it because he doesn't push it hard enough.
He would. The problem is he just lives 12 hours away from everywhere that he has to go wheeling. I'm sure,
Listen,
like, if he lived
you
more
gotta go-
local.
You can go wheel with Luke and those guys down there. It's worth the ride.
It's
So just
8
take the ride
hours
down
away.
there. Oh, he's only
Can't get his vacation. Oh,
long weekends, bro.
well, if he
Take a
listens
day.
to this one, I'm sure we'll get a
Yeah,
earful
call in
later.
sick on Friday or Monday.
Any of them. He just shows up. At least this dude fucking listens to them and then shows up.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't. Yeah, just wheel. Like you have all this time and money, dedicated to your junk. Like just fucking use it. You know.
You calling me
Yeah.
out right now, you bitch?
Cody,
Is that what's going on?
Cody's gonna have 95 excuses of why he's not gonna.
I
feel it.
was
I'm not scratching
unemployed
the time.
from
I don't want
April
any money
till
I don't
December.
know. Just hold on. Just
Tighten
fucking
that steering
wheel it,
box up
you know?
and go. You
Oh,
don't need
yeah, I
money,
forget about the
just a
steering
wrench.
box.
You
Yeah,
had one of
Oh
those.
God.
my god, you guys are a mess. I felt a
Weld the
little
steering
bit.
box brace and call it a fucking day, or put full hydro in it. Pun the thing and shut up.
I have the tons. I just gotta fucking get them.
Well, they're not going to build themselves.
My
Fucking
biggest problem right
excuses.
now too is like this isn't even an excuse. This is really like this is a real reason of it is like a lot of times when I'm getting parts lately, if they're not directly in my line of sight every fucking day, it's out of sight, out of mind, and I fucking forget that I even have them. Like for the longest time, I forgot that I had the O5 Plus tons. Like they're over at my brother-in-law's sitting behind a steel pile that was actually, we just got rid of it, thank God, because it was a fucking massive pile of steel. But they're just sitting there, and I totally forgot I even had them. So like if they're at my house, it'd be a different story. I could every once in a while I'd
Go
go
bring them
back
to your
there and
house,
start
take
cutting
them
on them.
apart. And,
Landlord.
There's
is
a
the current
lot.
problem
There's a
with that.
lot of excuses going on here. You have friends. So bring them to your friend's house and have one of your friends.
They're there.
Well,
I have
How
an
was I
axle
forget
rack
about 'em?
that has space for an axle because mine came off the rack.
Yeah, there you go.
Tell me what to
Graham's
do.
offering. Shut up. Shut
Graham
up.
lives 2.5 hours away.
I've been told that the O5s are way harder to slice up than the O4s. I sliced that O4 in an hour, so give me
Have
an
you done
O5.
Have you done the 05 yet?
I haven't done an O5 yet.
Gnarly.
Oh, they suck.
Yeah,
You gotta-
I want to do one
you gotta
because everybody.
solid-
I posted something on my Instagram and I was like, I just did this O4. I mean, granted, it's not. You're right. It's not anywhere near as much casting as an O5, but
Yeah.
you use the right tools and they come apart
No, it's
relatively.
it's a half day. It's a half day,
All
and
right.
you need a 7-inch grinder. So
Oh.
you need a 7, or it's a bitch. I used a portaband, plasma torches, and you need a 7-inch grinder.
Jesus. Okay, good to know. I need to
give it to me,
start
Cody.
stacking
I want
up.
to try it.
Okay. Okay.
It's definitely do. I've done 3 of them. They're definitely doable. They just suck.
We'll plan a weekend. I'll come out and we'll hang out for a little bit, and you can play with something, and I'll just start grinding and cutting away on
No,
that.
I
Yeah,
have to
me-
do it because
just
I've been.
maybe
People are,
Want to do it?
Well, just
I did
Cody could ship the back axle then. Ship all the crap off the back
yeah,
axle and get that
Yeah,
stuff
there
all
you go.
done and situated, and make sure Graham's all set up with cutoff wheels and pizza or whatever you gotta give him and feed him, and then just call it a day.
Craft beers. Can't forget about those. Craft
Hey,
beers.
and just you're a pain in the ass, but whenever you want help with that shit, Cody, I'm game for helping. And I know you guys you live far, but I'm game to give you guys help on a weekend or Saturday or Sunday, or once it starts getting warm and stuff like that. I slow down at work. I'm always game for helping with that shit and getting stuff done.
Biggest thing right now is stacking money. That's the biggest thing I got to do, and I got to get a cage in that. I really am at a point now where I am, especially with all the friends that I have that have bigger Jeeps. Like I'm not worried
hang
about.
on. Hold up. I have to defend Cody from Chris's fucking mocking right there. He does need a cage because he can't fucking drive.
Are you
Yeah.
okay? How many times have I almost rolled over and saved it? That gives me some brownie points, fucker. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't say you can't save it. I said you can't fucking drive because you've almost rolled it on blues.
That's fuck you. Okay, fine, deal. I'll take it.
Hey, I got stuck. I was bringing overly jump pack because his buggy died. I got stuck on when I first bought my buggy. I had the stupid boggers on it, and I got stuck on a blue at Field and Forest. I was so fucking mad. I had to pull cable in a goddamn buggy on a fucking blue. I was so mad that I had to do that. So it does happen. It doesn't have to stick up for him. to go for him. But it does happen. I was literally stuck on a blue.
Yeah,
I wasn't paying attention. I slid off and I got stuck.
But yeah, all jokes aside, all parts aside, I need the cage. The cage is the biggest thing right now that I need to just focus a little bit on safety.
But if you put a cage in it, you can actually wheel it pretty hard how it is. Like you're gonna break shafts and stuff and all that crap. But
that don't matter. The shafts are nothing. I have fucking like 3 sets of shafts sitting behind the house.
And he wants to do some like fucking fancy internal stupid cage that he's gonna regret later.
Ow.
Yeah, he's dumb about that.
Okay, but you say that, but I talked to Greenleaf, and even Greenleaf agreed with me that doing a hybrid or external cage, you are literally sacrificing proper node strength and proper nodes, or a cage design, pardon me, for saving a little bit of the body. Like, if you go with an internal, yeah, you're gonna crush the body, you're gonna lose different parts of it. You may even lose the fucking the back half of the unibody. But you are going to save yourself and save the front half of the vehicle. Especially if like me and Luke were talking about, I'd still would love to back half my shit box. So if I crush the back half, well, guess what? It's just a good excuse to start back halving it. But
so you're not going to make up the headroom.
I'm not even that tall of a guy, but also, like, I have a short torso. I can drop the seat down 2 inches. Like, I can't use the stock seat mounting position anyways when I do the cage. So just drop the seat down a little bit.
Or even now, but if you ever go to a 205, you run out of space really quick. Under there. I'm sure.
Yeah. Start putting a big case in there.
Kind of close to my roof because I didn't lower my seat, or I didn't raise my seat, but it's just how packed it is.
Graham, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm about 4 or 5 inches taller than you are, and I had to angle my seats to be able to get room for my head in there without an internal cage, with the hybrid.
I agree that Greenleaf and everybody who says, I mean, yes, an internal cage is technically stronger if built correctly, but we're talking about a unibody fucking Cherokee with frame stiffeners that are poorly welded on. No offense. Every single set of frame stiffeners, unless they're done by somebody who's done a million sets, it's not ideal. With a set of sliders on it, if you have sliders that things are tied to, like, at that point, does it matter? Who gives a fuck about, like, if the node?
They wouldn't go to the sliders.
Proper.
They would go to the top of the unibody. I mean, you're literally
the top of the flimsy unibody that needs to be reinforced internally. So you need to rip the literal floor out and plate it properly if you're going to actually use it and not have the tube just punch through the floor in a hard rollover.
So, but you're telling me that stiffeners that are welded... Okay, so you have your unibody, you have your stiffener, then you have your sliders that are off at an angle, now creating a fucking lever.
My sliders are more of a frame rail than my frame rail. I mean, my frame rail is pretty beefy now.
But... Yeah, but, like, it's attached to the janky unibody that you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's also fully seam welded down the entire side of the Cherokee.
It doesn't matter.
All of that sheet doesn't... What?
Your supports are going into something that is welded in 2 feet out. Not 2 feet. It's probably what, like 18 inches technically from the unibody to the.
Well, if you build it
correctly,
it is a solid mounting point. I have 2x4 slotted chunks of metal that go into over the factory unibody stiffener I did. They're actually notched into the rough stuff unibody because it's got a lip that hangs out over. It's a stupid design, but it actually worked out because I slid it all in there through to the inside. It's angle welded onto the 2x6 I've got as the frame or the rail on that, the rocker. And then when I went in and did the 205, I went in, took the factory flooring off, plated and like sandwich welded that piece of metal that was the lip that was hanging off the rough stuff stiffener.
Yep.
Welded that the whole way down. Welded it to the other side, which is still factory unirail, but it's basically a C channel now with those kickers coming back in from the stiffener, welded fully all around. It's more solid than.
I get that, and I get that, but
I've got tubes running across them to the other side.
But to say that a piece of metal welded off of the unibody is more structurally sound when it's literally welded to that same unibody than going just down on top of the unibody seems crazy to me,
I think
because the
you're
most
looking at
structurally
it in the wrong manner.
no, because just hear me out though, because if the unibody is the structure of the whole entire vehicle, yes, you can stiffen it as much as you want, you can plate it as much as you want, but in reality, it's still pieces of sheet metal. That's what it is. But so if you're now adding metal around it, then adding a leverage point off of it, you are going outside of it. Think of it like some fat or like a marshmallow onto a fucking piece of dry spaghetti. Like
I wanted to hear your other analogy there.
I was thinking like a fat person on top of a skinny kid's shoulders. You know what I mean? Like that idea. But think of it this way, or like having a sledgehammer. When you have a sledgehammer,
I
you're
understand how
holding
leverage
you're
works.
hold-
It's still just
No, I gotcha. But you're telling me that mounting that
weaker.
point.
I don't like the mounting point in the bottom on a Cherokee is you can put it wherever. If you built your rockers correctly, I don't think that's the biggest concern.
Yeah,
Like,
even
you may crack it. Sure, I don't think it would rip off. Maybe if you were going like 70 miles an hour, but if in that case you shouldn't be building. I don't know. Some people do. A Cherokee
You're falling
is
off
the
of
greatest
what I was trying to
platform
explain.
for that.
No, Josh will tell you that the Cherokee is the greatest platform.
No,
And all the work he's put into that
Yeah.
fucking thing. But that's one of my favorite Cherokees.
The weaker point
Yeah.
is where your pillars are going up to the halo. The halo is the weak point because you're not mounting that in line with nodes. That'll shear. Like
Yes.
mine is
Cody,
that is the
Cody,
weakest
is
point of
your-
mine.
Is your goal to make this is not going to be streetable once it's tonned, right? Like it's not going to
Oh, correct. Well, yes and no, because like my end all plan, I don't like. Okay, your friend there that has the silver LJ, lives in Rhode Island. He also has a full blown TJ buggy. Then he also has this
be.
a purple-
LJ buggy. Yeah, LJ buggy.
No, well, he has an LJ and a TJ buggy. I thought that's an
Yeah,
LJ
well,
in
the LJ, the brown one, the badass one is the brown one. 142-inch reds.
Yes. Okay. So his purple buggy. Do you know the purple buggy
Yeah.
that he recently bought?
talking about Ashton.
No,
Richard
no.
Richard Drew.
So
Okay.
his purple buggy, like to me, that's a buggy that I'd want to build. So in the sense of like, I don't think as I get more and more into this, I feel that the Cherokee that I own will not go to the point of Curtis or Greenleaf or
So this is where you're
Or-
this is where you're fucking up. So you're already thinking smart, which for you is a lot. So you're already thinking way too smart. You should just build a chassis or buy a chassis and leave your shit box alone.
well, the plan is that I want to build the Jeep because I don't know. It was my first. Well, it wasn't my first Cherokee, but it was the first one that I actually started doing cool shit with. I want to get it to a point that it can run blacks with a cage. Like I might not even throw the tons under my current Jeep.
That's
Because
what I mean. Then yeah, you
Yeah,
have some kind of hybrid.
I've-
If you talk to Luke, and I know you guys have sentimental value in Grant with your rigs. If you talk to Luke and those guys again, I guarantee you, if they were to have the money they put into their rigs, and again, I know Luke has sentimental value to his Jeep, and Grant probably does too. But if you're to take that kind of money, you could have built a full off chassis.
correct. And
Money and time.
I could have built a full off chassis. I would never build a full off chassis.
Because you don't want it. Yeah, you want to be able to still drive it, and I understand that. That's why I was asking if Cody still wanted to be able to drive this. If you're being able to drive this down the road, it's a totally different fucking ballgame.
Yeah.
I don't think if I bring it to the point that I want I want a rig that I can like a Timmy style rig where I can go out, have a good time. If I want to stretch my skills on wheeling, I don't want to have to worry that I'm gonna fucking die when this thing rolls over. Like that's the biggest thing is like right now I'm concerned that if I roll this thing over, me and the girlfriend are gonna be trapped and it's gonna catch on fire. Genuinely, because it like I am
I've
chasing
seen
down
Cherokees
guys.
when they roll over. They don't pancake. They just kind of crush on the roof. You
But are they
Yeah,
chasing
look at
people
Caleb.
40-inch
You won't
sticky
die.
brakes?
Caleb Spline's fucking Cherokee. It had some tube, but no doors, no house. That thing was all fucking beat. The body was still there.
Yeah,
Fucking loved that thing and hated that thing. It was
He-
hilarious
he
to talk
wheeled that-
with him about that.
I watched him on Elm Street right before the exit of Elm Street, and he backed up. There's like a big face, like a 4.5 foot, 5 foot face vertical, and your tires are all muddy, and you can't get up because your tires are full of goop. So I watched him back up, like just broil this back up and just fucking hammer it in like second or third gear and bounce. The rear tires came like 4 feet in the air, and he bounced up over that. I was like, man, this is nuts. I was like, I like him. I was like, I fucking like
He's
him.
a hoot.
But like seeing something like that, the Cherokee body was still intact. That thing went over a bunch.
Yeah.
So it had some kind of hybrid-ish cage on the inside. Like Graham said, you're complicating toast here. Just kind of throw a cage in there and whatever your budget allows to make sure you and your old lady are safe. You know what I mean? Like make sure the occupants in the rig are safe, and don't worry about the body because you don't care. Don't worry about the body and stuff. Just make sure you guys are safe, and you know what I mean. You can get your seats and get your harnesses, and
That's exactly where my mindset
seats
is
and
at.
harnesses now though first.
Yeah.
You should be putting your priority should be seats and harnesses.
Need seats and harnesses to build the cage around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And then
absolutely.
you should build, like Graham said, you should build your seats and harnesses on your lower part of the cage. That'll be the beginning stages of your cage where you have your bars going across to your sliders, Mr. fucking leverage. But you have your bars going across to your sliders and all this other shit. So your seats are mounted, then you later on do it in stages. Graham builds the front for you or something behind your head for your harness bar. Then you go over the dash and you do something on the inside or the outside, whatever you're going to do. Then later on you do the back. And if that's what you're worried about on rolling over, I'd have your seats. You're going to blow your back out before you crush your head.
Yeah.
So in a bad roll, you're going to hurt yourself that way. You're going to break your back.
And that's why
I
I'm
will
thinking
tell you that is a fucking truth, because when I rolled my shitbox buggy, I fucked my side and my back up more than I
Yeah,
fucked
that's what I'm
my
saying.
head up.
And even the guys with the badass buggies, man, if you don't have good seats or your harnesses aren't on, or they're not tight, or your harnesses are in an improper angle coming off your shoulders, they're down, they're up. And
I see
you
that all
compress
the
your
time
spine.
too. You see some of these harness setups, and it's like,
I see them, I'll be like, ugh, like you almost throw up.
The
You're like,
way,
dude, you're gonna break
Graham,
your fucking back.
I miss my tabs.
your tabs were dumb.
My tabs made it so that the harness angle was a little bit less steep.
Yeah, until they shear off because they're in they're gonna bend, and then you loosen up your harness, and then Luke goes flying out of the Jeep on a hard rollover down the mountain. Like, I don't know, just looking out for you, bud.
It's okay. Thank you. And
You're
then
talking about
go back
upper
to-
tabs? Is it upper
Yeah.
tabs you're talking about? Yeah,
Yep.
you should have those. There shouldn't be tabs on there.
All right. So then I was wrong. But to go
You
back to
can put
ragging
if
on
you
Cody.
want it at a different height, you can do a bar just for the harnesses.
I have a harness bar in mine.
Yeah,
Mine's got a bar going across for the harness.
It doesn't have to be a
There's no
structural
tabs.
like cross
No,
bar.
No,
it can
mine
be
is
just a little hoop.
Just that's mine. Well, mine actually is structural, but it goes across and it's my harness bar. There's no tabs. There's no nothing.
Mine, I got lucky because of where I put it. So it was close enough that Graham was able to throw the harnesses in, and it's only like an inch or two below my shoulder.
Yeah,
Um,
you're horrible.
That's okay. It's not
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
it's not
Again,
as ideal, but
It'll crush your spine. I tell these guys, like, you got to be careful. You come down, even with the harnesses set up properly, if you're not tight in your seat, you come down hard, you're going to crush your spine.
Yep.
Like,
suspension seats also will fuck you up if
Yep.
you get into too
100%.
big of a fucking rollover.
100%. Yep.
But
It'll
can
crush
I
your
get back
spine.
to my quick point on ragging on Cody?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
We are at
I am-
240 right now. Just a heads up.
I know. We'll call this after this. I trust having my pillar fully welded down the entire door seam and down the entire unibody rail with tie-ins going into the stiffener more than I trust just having the tie-ins being what's holding the cage up. That's why my C pillar has 2 mounts. Well, technically 3, I guess. And the A pillar is fully tied in right at the edge of where the exterior welds on my door pillar, like the actual structural part of the unibody, then also has a support pillar underneath it. It's not ideal, but I trust that more than just putting it on a 2x2 square piece.
Yeah, I mean, I understand completely. I'm just at a point with my rig that it's at a like a breaking point. It's either it needs to go full retard, if you will, or keep it the way it is. And honestly, with what I want to build, I have no like like my final rig, whether it be the Cherokee or whether it be a chassis of some sorts, I have no intentions of it really being streetable. To me, the ease of just hopping in the truck, throwing it on the trailer, and then going to wherever I'm going to wheel outweighs.
Why don't you just start cutting then?
Yeah.
Because everybody says a fucking Cherokee sucks. If I am cool and happy with something like the purple rig that Rich
Drew, yeah.
Rich has, then why fuck my Jeep up? Why not just my Jeep works fucking great the way it is? I mean, it's literally a smorgasbord mix of Grams and Lukes in reality before it went to 1 tons. Both of their like it's a smorgasbord perfect of both. It works great. If I just refine it a little bit, make it safe, and then just have fun with it, and then I build an actual buggy, why not? Like, that's why, yeah, I guess I could just do the hybrid, just do the cookie cutter, not cookie cutter, but
it's a cookie cutter. Do the cookie cutter and fix your steering and leave it on the little baby axles and just leave it on 35s and wheel it and have fun. And then, do something else later on, or if you want to do tons later on, do tons later on because you already have the fucking cage. Just get the hybrid done, and like I said, get some seats and get your steering fixed, your steering box, and all that crap, and just leave it how it is. You don't got to be a hero this year. You know what I mean? Just get out and hang out with your friends and have fun. Your rig works, like they work. I'll give them that. They do dumb things. You're gonna be amazed what you can do on 35s that ton guys don't fit.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
One thing that you can do the dumb lines too. That's another huge.
Yeah, you can. And you don't care about the body, so you're not like, oh, I fucking dented it. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're not going to care. You roll, you're like, roll back over, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, you're not worried about it. So I would leave it, do the cage ASAP, but get your seats first, do the cage, and then, fix your steering and blah, 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 and go through the list this year, just so you can have fun, enjoy it, go out with your buddies and actually wheel, go and have fun.
And then start the process of the actual rig. Yeah, and again, like, it's crazy that I come to these realizations that I don't really think about this shit outside of like talking with other people, but it seems like it always happens on the podcast that I'm coming to these realizations of like what I really want to do. Yeah. But it's
because you're talking with a bunch of people.
That's what the point of the podcast
Correct. Is. So I hope it helps other people too. And like I know we've had my conversation about what I want to do, my current rig, the current problems and shit like that. But hopefully it helped somebody. But I think that is a thing that and honestly, with how many rigs that are set up just like that purple rig, I wish I could come up with a better answer. It's kind of like Mike's YJ buggy, but without the YJ. I think
I've seen that. Right? I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, Richard, that's a cool buggy. Yeah,
I could buy a chassis practically done, sitting with the if let's say it's on Toyota axles, and I want to swap it over to
10 grand. Yeah, 10, 15 grand. You can find a full-blown chassis, like motor, everything, like turnkey, already on stickies. And you find them all the time, Jeep-based or Toyota-based or Samurai-based or, Cherokee-based or whatever you've got going on. It's already built.
Save myself a lot of time, too.
Well, the time and money and the blood, sweat, and tears you're going to have in doing yours. And Graham will tell you, Luke will tell you how much time they have into their fucking rigs to get them where they are now. Just in tube work alone.
Cody's seen it. He watched my rig when he first started coming around. It was on 35s. I think the first time he hung out at my shop.
But your speed was like a little unrealistic almost. I mean, you slapped it together faster than most people will do one portion of that. So that's not always a good. I mean, mine took.
No, but I'm saying like
longer than yours.
Cody was coming down to the shop though, and he got to see like. I had the axles prepped. All right, axles are underneath. Bang, bang, bang. We're doing control arms are in. Track bar is built. Like, he got to see all the stages and the absolute Herculean amount of work that went in over that summer. I got my 1 tons in 3 months. Yeah. And it was driving in 4.
Yeah. But it's also...
it's a lot of work. You got to remember, I went to Tacoma 3 months. It was independent. In 3 months, I was driving it. It's a lot of work. You know what I mean? As you got your friends over there every weekend, you're grinding, you're cutting, you're welding. It's a lot of fucking work.
It's an every weekend, every night sort of deal to get things done.
Yeah, it was an every night sort of deal.
It's dedication. If Cody spends 10 grand, 15 grand, he can come up with the money and buys a fucking chassis or a buggy done. then he just puts a cage and everything in his for now, you know. And
Yep.
even just doing the cage, the hybrid cage, Graham will tell you it's a lot of fucking work. It's not like it's just a bolt-in thing where you're like, and done.
It's
You know
a
what I
solid
mean?
week for me. The whole exo portion, and granted, it was the first one I'd done, so I didn't. It took me a little longer than I'd probably do one now. But it was a week just to do the outside, and then another week to do the inside, or more.
what I mean, like,
I was
it's a
piecing
lot
the
of
inside
work.
together forever.
It
Well,
took me
we're-
a month to do my cage. Like,
It take a long
lot.
time.
And that's why I would have no problem paying Graham to do mine once he frees himself up. I know right now he's busy as shit.
Give me
because
no. It's
give me the
not how it
drop
works.
the money off, drop the Jeep off, and then we'll go from there.
You tell me when you want it done. I'll get you the tube quote, and we can go for it. Like it's.
It's because I see the amount of effort that like Luke has put in, you have put in, Colin has put in. Like I
What are
understand
you talking about?
my
Colin doesn't fix his shit. He hasn't
no,
touched
but
it in
like
a year.
no, but what I'm trying to
He
get
put the
is
beat
like
blocks on it.
I haven't done it yet. I don't trust myself with my current welding abilities. I don't trust myself, and I would rather respect one of you guys who has put in the time and effort to just do it. I don't even care if I wait the 2-3 months that it would take to make it happen. I don't give a fuck. I'd rather know.
It can't sit in the shop for 2 or 3 months, so it'll get done faster than that. Don't worry.
Oh, perfect, good.
We crank stuff. It can't sit. Other than there are some exceptions, but we won't do that anymore. Nothing can sit. It's got to be
Yeah,
mobile.
I'd rather like I'd be happier knowing that it was getting done well and by the person or by somebody who has already put the hours of just bullshit effort into doing it
you don't
once
need to
or
toot
twice.
anybody's horn. We're at
No, but like
251.
what I'm
So-
getting at is like seeing Luke build
Yeah,
his
my
rig.
my headphones done to die. I'm 3%.
All right, well I'll be quick. I promise. But like, yes, I totally get what you're coming at, Graham. Where like his was unrealistic, but he's already done it. He's already done it on different Jeeps. He's already done the axle swaps. He's already done the 3 links. He's already done all that.
Makes
So
it
when
faster.
I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, that was really fast. He did that really quick. But like, he had the money at the time. He had the time, which was huge. He was able to go and fucking make it happen. So I could still respect where he was able to get to and how quickly
Dude,
he did it.
I
But because of the
fucking lived there for
Yeah.
3 months. Like, it was every other day after work. I was coming home at like 10 o'clock from that shop.
Jesus.
That's a lot. It's a lot of work. No, you
Yeah.
are, and we're doing it. We're doing it with Mikey's right now. We did a back half on Mikey's. It's been 2 weeks, but he's there 10 days in the past 2 weeks.
Yep.
10,
Wow.
12 days, and I'm there the same 3, 4, 5 days. Like, and we have Craven coming over. It's a lot of work. We just did a back half on a Jeep that didn't have any body. Like, you know what I mean? There's like 9 tubes. Like, it's not that much. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
fucking a lot of work. You know.
And like, that's why I won't take any shit about me not fucking doing anything on my Jeep right now, is because I've done so much fucking work to it in the past 3 years that like I'm allowed to take a couple months.
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
Like,
You can take a couple month break. Alrighty. Well, we're at 252, so we're gonna call
Yeah.
it.
Thank everyone for listening, though, fucker. Okay, it's been 3 hours. If they sat this long, you better thank them,
Yeah.
you piece of shit. Don't say bye without saying it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank
Do
you
it.
for listening to the podcast for 2 hours and 52 minutes. And remember, it doesn't need to be perfect. Just get it fucking going and get it on the trail. Because if you sit for a year and don't wheel, it's a lot less fun to talk on a podcast than it is if you wheel every month or every weekend. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so just don't get it right. Get it running.